What is going on, everybody? We are back. I would like to thank all of you for bearing with us while we were off on break. My name is Brett. I am here on episode 671 of Pop Culture Crisis with a whole cast of people who are looking to help me today as Mary is out of town celebrating her birthday. First of all, straight across from me, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, it's Coffee Lady. How's it going?
Still Coffee Lady.
Always.
Always Coffee Lady. You should actually get like a name tag that says that.
I should, huh? But then people are going to start calling me Coffee Lady, and I'm not going to actually like it.
Would that be insulting?
A little bit, maybe.
A little bit insulting, yes. And to my right, he kicked and screamed the whole way here, but he is here to help. How you doing, Kellen?
I'm good. Before the show started, I was choking on your generic Tums.
Yeah. For those who don't know what he's talking about, which just sounded really, really creepy, Kellen whined and he wanted an antacid.
My tummy hurts, man.
He had a tummy ache.
I gave him an antacid, and then he complained that he didn't get bougie enough antacids, which might be the girliest thing I've ever seen.
It's like a 20-cent difference. You chose to buy the generic ones, man.
Look, maybe we don't all make IRL money over here. I don't know. I don't know what your pay scale is.
You guys are still in Maryland. Those taxes hurt. I get it.
That is true. The taxes do hurt over here.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we'll make it.
He's helping me out today and tomorrow while Mary is, these two are going to help me out today and tomorrow while Mary is out of town. And then helping me out today, what's going on, buddy?
Hello, everyone. Dane here. I'm terrible at intros. I don't know what happened.
It's okay. That's all right.
It's feeling like a brain dead.
I used to have it. I used to have it.
The funny thing about
he needs no intro. How about that?
For me, it's when we start the show, you listen to podcasts and it's like, it always seems so natural the way that they lean into the conversation. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we get done with like you're who you are and everything, I'm like, what the hell do we talk about? Let's just get to the discussion. But then some days where I've like halted that and I've tried to ease into the beginning of the show, then people complain. And there was a guy one time who was like, Tim just goes right into the show. He got really mad.
I've done this, I think literally 100 times now. Yeah. And at some point I'm like, and I know there's new people every time, but I'm like, am I really going to introduce myself for the 100th time?
You have to do it. It's the same way when people play PCC bingo where I talk about the same things.
Yeah.
And you know what? If that's a problem and you still listen to Tim who's talking about Civil War every 10 minutes, then you're a hypocrite.
Well,
okay?
I was just talking about this, how people will complain in chat. They're like, this is the 4th time Tim has told this story. I'm like, listen, not everyone watches every episode. Mm-hmm. The reason you do that is because most people, maybe they tune into 1 or 2 episodes a week, and they're probably not even watching the whole 2 hours. For a lot of people, they're hearing that story for the first time.
What you should do is take it as a compliment that you're as dedicated as you are when you hear the story multiple times. So
it
guys,
gets better.
Yes, it does. Guys, before we get started, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Perhaps check and make sure that you are still subscribed, because we were gone over it was like a long weekend, and then we had a day we missed last Thursday. There was all sorts of shenanigans. There have been power outages out here. If you saw my Twitter today, you saw that when I came in, the studio was basically in ruins. All the lights were broken, meaning that all the lights you see around us here, everyone's got their green and their neon lights. See, right now we already got signed out of the chat, so I'm gonna have to do that.
You just can never leave.
Go ahead, talk, and I'm gonna fix this live.
So Brett can never leave this state ever again.
It looked like a rave on his Twitter. Did you see the video?
I did not see it yet. No.
It looks like a rave going on. Yeah, everything's flashing red. It's kind of like a John Wick scene.
I was an intern once, and I came into the office early because I was trying to kiss ass, and I just wanted to hire me and pay me.
Okay.
And then I didn't have the code for the alarm system, and everything went off, and I was so scared I literally just ran away.
Fixed it. Okay, so literally what it is so we get logged out. The way the automation is set up on here, like you have to do it through Google Docs, and it got logged out on that computer over there. And I was like, it's totally going to happen in the middle of the show, and you can't like preempt it. You have to wait for it to log out.
It broke when I did the show the one time.
You sent me a message. I'm like, bro, I don't know how to talk you through this right now. So guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into. So again, thank you all so much for joining us back here today. So first things first, Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler are turning into what looks like a proxy war over at Disney. If you care about what's going on in Israel and Palestine, you could just pay attention to the new Snow White movie, because Rachel Zegler put out a tweet that's causing all sorts of problems. films, and there's been backlash from various corners of Twitter and the internet related to Gal Gadot's service in the IDF and other people complaining about the fact that Rachel Zegler can't keep her personal politics to herself when they're trying to promote this movie. It's a very interesting story, so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the big lawsuit that's coming down from against J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk, and more related to the Olympics this year. Apparently free speech is in fact just dead, so we're going to talk about that. Also, Vince Vaughn, he went on another bit of a rant here talking about the concept of responsible comedy and how responsible comedy isn't a thing, which I think everyone can agree with. So we're going to talk about it, and we're also going to talk about millennials. They are officially the most therapized, that's the word, generation, meaning that they are the most therapy-conscious generation there is, yet they seem as unhappy as anyone on planet Earth. So we're going to talk about why. So if everybody here is ready to go, we will just get started. Dane, you ready?
Yep.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Everyone went
Let's
in
do
order
it.
too. That was fantastic. All right. First things first. If there's any basic bitch white women in the chat, this is for you. Dunkin' Donuts is releasing an alcoholic pumpkin spice latte can drink.
I know Dane's excited.
Dane is very excited. There's a 20 right there if you want to read that one.
Sweet. All right, from Corey Anderson. Where the F is Mary and not freaking cool, bro? What the I am not something it's cut off.
He says this podcast is an effing prison in planet bullshit. So angry, man. So angry, buddy. You need to like.
You need Jesus.
You need Jesus.
She took a day off for her
Actually,
birthday.
what you could do is have a Dunkin' Donuts alcohol pumpkin spice latte.
Yes.
That's what you. I don't think I'm legally allowed to advocate for that. But
Dude, now we're talking about stuff that like gives people heartburn.
Yeah.
Hence why I asked for Tums earlier. But like, this is something that seems like a disaster for your stomach. It's just straight up pumpkin spice, alcohol. Like it does not seem like it's
At
be
21,
pleasant.
I would have been all over this.
Of course.
Now at the age of 30, nah.
Of course.
I'm not
good.
gonna lie,
I'm
Sarah.
good.
I don't even like pumpkin spice, but a pumpkin spice, I just want to try it.
My
It
favorite
sounds
comment.
Just to say I was there.
The top comment just says, "Great, now my wife is going to take her bad day out on me."
Oh my goodness.
I like it. That's perfect. Look, I can't drink because I'm sober, but somebody will have to drink one of these in my honor, and then let me know if you end up listening to Sabrina Carpenter or Taylor Swift.
Listen, is that already out?
It says is releasing, so I don't think it's out
okay.
yet. I love Dick Serto when they cover food and stuff because they do like an everything we know section. Like, imagine it's just some guy's job to go through and be like, what do we know about the new pumpkin spice latte drink?
Not enough.
Because I was so I was at the while I was gone, I was out of town. I was at the Minnesota's largest candy store, which is where you can get all of like the most disgusting things that you would never actually want to eat. Meaning like you can get chili cheese dog flavored candy. Why you want to get that, I have no idea, but people buy that stuff.
Prank people.
I remember when Mary first started working here, there was like mac and cheese flavored ice cream in the fridge.
That's so gross.
I'd try
That's
it.
disgusting.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
I would try it.
In Puerto Rico, we have these like typical desserts. They're like some slushies. And one of the most famous flavors is like rice and beans flavors because apparently they can't get enough of that. And they'll tell you it's like, no, it actually tastes like rice and beans. It's like,
That's not a selling.
Just
I know.
eat rice
I love rice and beans. Was like, how do you take the joy out of ice cream?
Yeah.
There's a yogurt flavor soju, which it's bomb. It sounds kind of weird.
What's soju?
It's like the like rice wine. It's like that Korean drink. It's alcohol.
Like
Okay.
sake?
Yeah, kind of
Okay.
like, oh yeah. So they have a yogurt flavor. It's just kind of like a cream. What were you talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
vanilla Coke earlier? Yeah,
I love
Okay,
girly
yeah.
drinks.
Cream.
They have like some cultures have like yogurt flavored drinks and stuff like that commonly, like yogurt flavored sodas and yogurt flavored like candies and stuff like that. So.
Some cultures have freedom.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know who this is the most dangerous for is Ben Affleck, who could probably get all this for free.
Oh yeah.
But he's sober these days, so he needs to say no if they try to offer him this. They're like, Ben, we want to send you some complimentary pumpkin spice latte alcohol. He's like, listen,
Is it official?
I love my kids. I love my family. I can't do it.
If
Is he a statistic now? That was really hard for me to say. Statistic.
What do you mean?
Like did he divorce J-Lo already?
Look, people get mad because we keep reporting. Look, anytime you talk about celebrity divorces, it's literally like source. I know a guy who knows a guy. No, not officially yet, but they're like living in different places. I feel bad for them when you have to talk. I'd feel bad for J-Lo if she had a soul, but I don't think she does. But I do feel bad for dunking on Ben Affleck.
If Shane H. Wilder's listening, you should Photoshop that picture of Ben Affleck where he's like, standing in the corner with the cigarette, except put this Dunkin' drink in his hand instead of the cigarette.
That's one of the greatest images of like 21st century.
Yeah.
I wonder if
The best meme.
I think he knew, like, maybe the whole point, the reason he seems so iffy whenever he's around paparazzi now is he doesn't want to have two world famous memes, both for being depressing. Because he's got the video of him, like, walking J-Lo to the car, and he's just like, ugh, and then he, like, slams the door shut when she gets in. Like,
so shouldn't he try to smile more, though?
I've been reliably told by women that when you tell someone to smile more, they get very upset. So you're not supposed to do that.
I forgave myself.
As women do.
As we do. So there's another one where he's like fumbling some Starbucks, some sort of Dunkin'. That one's really good too. He's just a very human guy, apparently.
To be fair, he made like $10 million off that Dunkin' ad that went viral.
Oh my God, yeah.
So he's not hurting for money.
You never have to guess how he's feeling, right? Like,
maybe that's why J-Lo married him. Maybe she's just like, look, every guy I date, he's an enigma. I can't figure them out.
You take one look at this guy and boom, it's right
you
there.
just know he's in a bad mood. Like, and anytime, like, also, like, maybe it's just like a little bit of projection. But anytime he's walking with his kids, it feels like he's making the same face. He's like, oh my God, the hell did I do?
He's got RBF.
He's just
what's
major
RBF?
RBF, resting bitch face.
He said, I think
you don't know what that is?
Yeah, he said
know the
something
acronym.
else about it, like where he's like resting angry face or something like that. Yeah, he does.
I think he's just waiting. A lot of people wake up every day and they're like, yes, another day that I'm alive. Let's conquer the day. He's just counting down the days. He's like, I can't stand it.
He works constantly because he doesn't want to think about it, right? He's about to play Hulk Hogan in a movie. Like, you only do that if you're busy. If you want to stay busy, he's gonna play Hulk Hogan in a movie about Gawker, about the whole when Hulk Hogan sued Gawker and put him out of business. Yeah.
Wonder if he'll no.
So okay, guys, just if you pick this up, drink responsibly. That's all I can say.
Can you pull up the Oreos? It's on their front page right now.
You have to send me the link.
I also did. Yeah.
On the front page of the Dexerto Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. You just scroll down like 3 or 4 posts.
Okay. This one?
Oh, no, keep going.
So what are they? They
There
just
it is.
review food? What is this?
Oreo and okay, I've actually been wanting to talk about this, how every single company is doing like weird crossovers with other brands now.
Yeah.
Like every drink has like a Starburst flavored drink or like an Oreo flavored drink.
Sour Patch.
They have like
I don't want a 0 sugar Oreo drink.
It should have sugar in it.
Right. Like extra, a lot of sugar.
That looks so is it a coffee? It's disgusting.
I think so. One of them,
The can's ugly.
One of them is like a Coke, like a drink, and then I think they're also doing Coke flavored cookies.
That's who are these people and who's
obese?
Who's green? Like they must be in the black, like super far to be able to just take risks like this.
Oreo?
Like no, I'm saying like all of these companies. Oreo flavored drinks in this, or like Oreo flavored soda in this economy? Are you kidding me,
dude? A bottle of Coke is $3, and a pack of Oreos is like $6.
Like an Oreo flavored.
Like they're making so much money.
An Oreo flavored coffee, I can understand. But an Oreo flavored soda, not so much.
Oreo does a lot of weird experimental stuff.
Yeah.
They like did a crossover with Lady Gaga randomly, like a couple years
did
ago.
It's like a Lady
Wars
Gaga
most
flavored
recently.
Oreo. I don't want to know what that tastes like.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, who asked for this?
They need to stop.
That's a very good question. All right, here we go, guys. So this is big news that we did not get to talk to about on Monday. Deadpool and Wolverine has crossed $1 billion at the box office, which will play in to something that we're going to be talking about later, because not just that, Inside Out 2 has crossed $1.6 billion globally, which means, ladies and gentlemen, that for the next 10 years, you will still get nothing but sequels, remakes, and reboots.
I went to that movie with my wife.
Thoughts?
We had to walk out because I was so bored.
What?
I mean, if
Which
you're
one?
a young girl, it's perfect. It's perfect for you. But I'm a 35-year-old man.
I thought you were talking about Deadpool for a second.
No. I want to see I haven't seen any Deadpool. I want to watch them so I can see this one. But I saw the Emotions movie. I don't know what it's called. The Inside Out.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was like, "Honey, we can go." I'm so sorry.
She felt so bad for you that you tapped out.
She literally did. I went to one of those movie theaters where you can eat and like drink beer. I'm just like drinking a beer and looking at this girl play hawker. Wait, sorry. What I say hawker?
Hockey.
Hockey. Hawker.
Soccer.
Close enough.
Hockey and soccer.
Soccer, hockey.
and just like miserably like drinking, be like, oh.
Even the beer couldn't help.
She's going to high school. She needs to make friends. Like I just gotta do it.
Can't relate.
I'm still stuck on the Lady Gaga flavored Oreos.
Yeah.
What does that
And
taste
apparently
like?
they were
I don't know.
disgusting.
Yeah. Okay. Does it taste like stage makeup?
Salt and sweat.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to know.
All right. So these movies both are past $1 billion. Again, that just means that we're not going to get anything new under the sun for a very long time.
Well, they make the joke in the Deadpool movie that Hugh Jackman's going to be doing Wolverine until he's 90.
Till you're 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they put that much money on the table, and all you got to do is work out for 8 months out of the year and then film it.
For some reason, I find it wholesome that he came back to be the Wolverine. He was like, "Oh man, I really just want to do this one," because I don't know if he likes Ryan Gosling or not.
Who else would it?
Wait, it's not Ryan Gosling, guys. I am.
Ryan Reynolds.
This is not
Close
the
enough.
best Dane
Yeah,
Fawn
that's
episode.
okay.
I can't imagine who else would play Wolverine.
I think
I don't
Henry
know.
Cavill can do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people are now pushing for that. Plus, it'd be a big FU to DC.
He's very mild mannered though. Like, grr,
He can do it.
I have clothes.
He can do
He
it.
could be like fancy Wolverine, you know,
Yeah.
like a lot more polite.
Wolverine's but with
mannered.
emotions.
Again, none of these are actual Wolverine representation because he needs to be short, but they're not going to be able to find an actor that's short enough to do it, sadly.
And Canadian.
Well, there's
Boo.
Ryan Reynolds is Canadian, so he can go find another Canadian
Is he?
actor to play. Yes, he is.
Oh wow.
Actually, they made multiple jokes about him being Canadian in the movie. So, all right, I need to get your opinions on this, whether it's creepy or not. Mark Zuckerberg has had a
Zuckerbergs.
giant statue of his wife created and installed in their yard.
Listen. When you're rich, they let
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah, who am I to know what
What's
billionaires
the
do with
no,
their
it's-
time?
You're only weird if you're poor. If you're
Yeah,
rich,
yeah.
you're eccentric,
Correct.
right? I'm not getting copy.
I sincerely agree with that, by the way.
that you're only eccentric if you're rich.
When you have billions of dollars, what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
George Alexopoulos says history has proven again that you can't buy taste. That's just rude.
Facts. That's an ugly statue.
See, I want to know if she knew ahead of time or if one day she just showed up at home and that was there.
Kind of reminds me of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
I bet she had an integral hand in it.
Think she
I'm
helped
sure.
design it?
She seems kind of...
I think she did the whole thing. It was like, oh my gosh, my husband surprised me with
And
this
he just
statue.
paid for it?
Yeah, and he paid for
She's
it.
doing the Scott Adams pose in the second photo, though, and isn't that like?
But she walks out with
So I don't know. Maybe she
her
doesn't like
robe
it.
on.
She's secretly not a fan.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if she came home, she's like, "Look, honey, like I understand that we have endless money, but our yard has only so much space, and it can't be ugly."
Imagine trying to move that thing.
Do they have neighbors? Like,
Yeah, it looks like there's a neighbor on the. I mean, there's a fence there. Why would there be a fence there? if
This
there
is
were
just
neighbors?
one of his houses.
it's gotta be.
Like, wait, do you really think that Mark Zuckerberg at his wealth level would decide to live next door to people?
That's why I'm
It's like how
confused.
what it is like he's worked very hard to make everybody believe that he is in fact a human, and he's like, well, humans live next to each other.
Okay, but you know, like there's like $3 million homes outside of DC.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in a neighborhood that kind of looks like this, like kind of smushed together, but they're so expensive. They're nice, but
'Cause
they're
of the
really
location.
expensive because of the location. It's
So if
safe.
he's in San Francisco, it's just to live anywhere.
If he's
costs
living right
millions of
outside a
dollars.
city, this would make sense.
You'd have to, if you wanted to live on like a compound, you'd have to liquidate stock or something.
I would be so embarrassed if my wife got this for me. Like a gigantic statue of me.
I kind of want to see one of you. Let's have the AI do it. Let's have Dane
Somebody do that.
be flowing.
No.
with silver.
Dane font as Silver Surfer statue.
Silver Surfer mermaid
That would be
Great.
good.
looking.
What could possibly go
In
wrong?
my mind, he surprised her with this, and she just doesn't know how to tell him that it's ugly.
That's a possibility,
Yeah.
honestly.
I'm just like confused by the coloring of it.
Yeah.
You
Why?
know,
Because of the tealish.
the blue, it sticks out like a
aquamarine
sore
blue.
thumb.
Maybe it
Is this
hasn't-
money laundering, but for like rich people, like how rich people do it?
I mean, that's what most art is these days.
Yeah,
Maybe they haven't painted it yet.
Did you see
Maybe.
all those Hunter Biden pieces of art went for like $250,000?
I saw a couple self-portraits that George Bush did today, where he's just like in the bath. It's just
What?
yeah, it's like him looking at his own legs in the bath.
What? What did you do to find this?
It was just on my feed. Self-portraits of George Bush.
It's sad
Listen,
we
it
made,
was safe for work. Like this isn't like an erotic photo. It's an interesting photo.
it's sad
but-
we made that man be president. Like when he obviously wanted to be a painter or something.
My favorite video, he's like, check
Bad
out this
things-
drive, and he
bad
just smacks
things-
the golf ball.
Bad things happen when artists end up in politics.
Oh yeah, so I've heard.
Bad things happen when failed artists end up in politics. Yes. All right. I was just curious what everyone's. All right, chat. I'm curious as to what they think of this. You'll have to leave a chat for us and let us know if you think that this is good or creepy. I guess it's just corresponds to your tax bracket, right? You can surprise your wife in different ways when you've got money.
How much? I feel like 150 million over.
Yeah.
It's like.
You think the
Permissible.
statue's 150 million?
No.
No. Like when you make 150 million over, it's cool. If you make 100 million, you have a statue like that. It's like, chill out.
She's like invested in something.
Buy a
wouldn't you?
jet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. This was surprising to me. So, the White House has proposed a new law requiring that subscription services like gym memberships can be canceled with a single click. Yes, I support this 110%. You know why? Because anytime you sign up for anything, Amazon Prime is a fantastic example.
Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. You sign up for anything, they make it extremely easy to sign up for it. But the second you try to quit that service, it becomes like a weird project that you have to spend actual time working on. Like you hit, I want to cancel membership. They move the button to like the far corner of the screen. They move the position where it's like the yes is on the other side now. So
The
you keep
captcha
hitting
pops up as soon as you try to click.
I wonder if this is going to make it like, because, you know, when you go to gyms and stuff, like you're signing a contract. So like, wouldn't this nullify a contract? So I wonder how this is going to play out. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it. Just go on the website. Boop.
If I was Amazon, what I would do is I would say, look, we'll give this to you, but we will not make it as easy to get refunds as it is right now. So I get water sent home or sent to my apartment like every week or so, and it never ends up at my door. It finds its way to literally any other location but where I live. So I've had to have it sent to work so that I can actually get it because it's actually at a place where it has to be brought up through a yard and stuff like that.
It happened to me with paper towels, and I buy like copious amounts of them. So like someone just got a Christmas gift from me is like copious amounts of paper towels.
But the problem is like when the good part is though is like when I went to tell them, I'm like, look, my thing didn't show up. They're like, oh, it didn't. That sucks. Here's your refund.
Yeah.
And it's instant, and you get it right away. They'll be like, look, we'll give you single button subscription quitting.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it an hours-long process to get your $12 water back.
Well, that's what this says. It says, like, now you're going to have to actually wait and talk to a representative.
Rather than a chatbot.
Right. So, like, that's
Boomers will love that idea. One more F you to us on the way out, says the boomers. There's a 20 there from Potatoes for Seamus. Says, hi, Sarah. Hi, Dane. Hi, Kellen.
Hello.
Kellen, when you are going to drag Surge into DC with me... Wait, it says, I'm reading this. It says, when are you going to drag Surge into DC with me? Oh, and hi, Brett. Glad you're back. Hope we don't leave you a huge mess. Brett, did you finally get that restraining order against Mary? Yes, that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did.
Surge is always in DC. I don't need to drag
on the
him
weekends?
there. Yeah, he's there quite a bit.
Which is insane. I never go. I hate DC.
Is he out
That's too
there
far for me.
DJing or just
I don't know.
enjoy
I
DC?
think so. Sometimes. I don't know what he does,
I
though.
hate DC. I cannot stand DC. Or should I say, I don't mind DC. I hate driving through DC.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't mind
Like
it.
driving
the
through
worst.
Parking,
driving
trying
through
to find
DC.
parking.
So we were when I was.
You don't mind with your big ass truck?
I've had to make like more trips home recently, and we were deciding whether to take JFK or Dulles, and literally just take Dulles because driving to JFK
That
is
I get.
annoying. It's awful.
Mm.
I'm sure there's at least somebody in chat who understands what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Because driving through, all the interchanges are in awful places, and if you miss it, then you have to double back. And
Me, I'm the guy in chat.
That's you.
I can relate. Yeah, for
And
sure.
you used to do it for work all the
I
time.
used to live there
That's horrible.
with
At
those
the airport?
psychos, dude.
At the
No,
airport?
in DC.
Oh.
Yeah, I was the guy lost in translation or whatever.
Yeah.
No, people do that. They like, there's like a man in China who like lived at an airport and got away with it for like years.
How do they do it? I don't get it.
I don't know. It's
I
like,
said JFK. I'm sorry, Reagan.
I know what you meant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat. Which one's JFK?
New York,
New
I
York?
think.
Okay. That'd be even worse. That'd be even worse.
There's also, we have BWI too in Baltimore.
Yeah, that one's just a little too far, but they have the best flights.
Do
Do
they?
they?
It's kind of like a trade-off. Yeah, they always have the most flights, at least for me, because I got to go so far back to California. There's not as many options at like Dulles or IAD or whatever the other one is. So I've noticed Baltimore, that airport has the most amount of options. They have the best flights. They're just a little out of the way.
The funny thing is so I'm too terminally online. I spend too much time on the internet. And when I flew home, I flew Sun Country just because it was the only one that had a flight at that time, and then Delta on the way back. Sun Country doesn't have internet on the flight.
I've never heard of that airline.
It is the most necessary $10 I will ever spend to have the internet on the phone.
I've never had it work. The internet on your phone.
I will pay the $10 to have the internet because we were talking about raw dogging flights like 2 weeks ago, and I could never do that. The closest I can get to that is like downloading movies on like a streaming service beforehand and watching one before I fly. But it is a good reminder that I am like too terminally on the internet when I can't even. I guess maybe it's because you're also boxed into like a tin can at 30,000 feet.
They've made flying miserable too. Lately.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Me and my wife download movies, and when the first one's done, we proceed to judge everyone on the plane. Everyone.
Wait, in what way?
Like
oh
people
my God,
watching?
any way imaginable.
I mean, that's we're going to be talking about it when the whole reason I wanted to talk about comedies was because while we were flying, I was like, think about how many great things you see on your average flight that could be used in a comedy film if you were allowed to actually make certain observations. And it's great. And
also, Vince Vaughn's like the perfect guy to talk about this because he's one of the most naturally funny people I've ever seen. Like, this guy's hilarious. And he's like a guy's guy too, so...
Yeah, and he's like a mainstay. He's been around for so long. He talks in the article a lot about how he avoided taking certain roles because they were too like they weren't him, but they were big blockbuster things. He kind of carved out his own niche in the industry. So, all right, so we're gonna move on, guys, and I do want to allow everybody to mourn just a little bit because, of course, we did not get to talk about D23 while it was going on because the show was off the air at the time. But D23 did happen, and now with the success of both Deadpool and Wolverine and, of course, Inside Out 2, both crossing the $1 billion mark at the box office within a month of each other, what that guarantees now is that we will be getting nothing but sequels, reboots, remakes, and all things like that for the foreseeable future because there really is no money in trying to invest in new projects these days, it seems like. So there was like a breakdown announcement of everything that's going to be coming out of Disney in the next couple of years. Does it surprise anyone when the only things that seem to cross that amount of money are reboots and remakes, or in this case, sequels?
Why is it called D23?
I actually don't know where the 23 comes from. Somebody in the chat can know, but it's there. They do this every year.
Reminds me. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They do this every year. So these were the things that they have announced so far, and we cannot show any of these trailers because we will get copyrighted. Copywritten. So Mufasa had their first trailer for the Mufasa film that's coming out soon.
Isn't he dead?
Well, it's a prequel.
Spoilers. God.
Yeah.
My bad.
The problem, of course, being that it is photorealistic animation that is completely devoid of any life or happiness whatsoever. It looks unsettling. Daredevil Born Again actually looked okay. I do recommend going and checking that out. Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. After my time, so maybe somebody else here who's younger than me.
I grew up
on
that.
Okay. Does that interest you at all?
It does. That was Selena Gomez's show that made her super famous.
Yeah.
Is she going to be in it? Because if not, I probably wouldn't be as excited.
Yeah, not with her, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Yeah, it says... it says she's set to return. So, I mean, I wonder if it's going to be one of those things where they only get her for some amount of episodes.
You know she's in the top 15 or top 10 of followers on Twitter?
Yeah. And isn't she one of the richest people in the world too?
Is she really?
I think.
I believe it. She's got her makeup brand.
Yeah, it's like her makeup brand or something like that.
Yeah.
So Monster Jam, literally based off of Monster Trucks with The Rock.
Sure.
We'll have to.
No, I like that.
That one, exactly, right? At least it's mildly new.
Right,
sounding.
and it's just that you're gonna go into this movie like a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to think about it. It's just The Rock and monster trucks.
So he's of course returning in Moana 2 as well. Now I do want to point this out because, look, like I said, Inside Out 2 made $1 billion. The only time I've seen normie people in the wild talking about something Disney related where it wasn't Deadpool and Wolverine was I saw people at the airport recently and a couple months back and then recently again talking about Moana 2, which means there has to be at least some buzz to the film.
I've seen a lot of people talking about it.
Does that does this interest anyone here? It would probably be more based on if you have kids or not.
I'm just happy. I know you said Disney's just really doubling down on sequels. I'd rather sequels than reboots. Yeah. Moana's a new...
Except for Twisters. Twisters was awesome.
Yeah. But Moana's like a new IP, so is Inside Out, you know? And so like I don't mind that they're doing sequels, especially because they were so successful.
Yeah.
You know, it's just when they do The Lion King or Mufasa, and it's like we already have these movies. Yes, it's live action, but...
So also we've got Avatar, Fire and Ash, and I tweeted about this the other day. I said, I will always find the culture, like the financial success and the cultural irrelevance of Avatar to be one of the most interesting things going on in this space. Now, it could be because of where we live, right? Avatar did really, really well overseas, and it made money here, but not to the extent that it did in Europe. So I find it interesting that both of those movies are in like the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time. At least one of them's the top, and then one of them's in the top 5. But no, you never hear anybody talking about them, or at least in my estimation, you don't see anybody arguing about them. That seems to be the way that you judge success, right? Who's arguing about these properties on the internet?
Is this the movie about the guy from Titanic? Sorry, the director,
Yes,
or
it's
the
from-
cartoon?
No, it's from the director, from James
Okay.
Cameron.
Because they're both called Avatar.
Yes,
Wow.
not Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, does you ever hear anybody in your free time ever talk about this movie?
Not even once.
Not even once.
I had no idea a third one was coming out.
Well, they're going to be 5 total, and James Cameron's going to direct all of them up until the day he dies.
I wonder if people just drive by a movie theater and be like, "I'll stop by later and watch that."
I mean, it made $1 billion very, very quickly. So I actually think that it's more that people were interested in seeing it, but I don't know where it's coming from, because I think there's also a gap between people, at least people who operate in this space or who are online extensively, and then people on the and then people who are not online. Like, the reason a Marvel movie doesn't do well isn't because people are actively against it. It's because they either don't know it's coming out or don't care.
It's just that advertisement is so targeted right now that it makes sense, because you show no interest in it. So it makes, although it's weird, because you would think since you're here searching on Google all day about movies that maybe you would get some advertisement about that.
Well, they were
But-
saying that about Harold and the Purple Crayon came out recently,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I had never heard of. It's not something I'd
Really?
never heard of. And there was a lot of people in the comments. There was people making fun of Zachary Levi, because there was like, they did an interview with some kids that were in the movie, and they were like, "You'll be a good actor one day." And somebody's like, "I would have liked to see this movie. My kids would have liked to see this movie. I didn't see a single advertisement for this anywhere and had no clue that it was coming out." And also, once the first weekend is over, if you weren't anticipating seeing it, a lot of people just don't bother going on the second weekend unless they were actively waiting to see it before it came out.
I don't know. The entire universe is paying for your view time, for your impressions, for everything. So it's a lot more competitive. Like, I've been working in this industry now for a decade, because I'm old. And I'm telling you, like, Facebook ads in the past, like, you would get your bang for your buck. Now you're just fighting to reach your audience.
Yeah. Do you think there's a way to fix that, or is it just because everything's so decentralized now?
I don't know, man. I think the way to fix it, it's not really a fix, it's more like a hack, is that when a new platform comes and people are starting to get into it, if they have like a good paid advertising, like, invest early. That's the best
early.
way.
Yeah.
You got to
Because-
take the momentum.
Well, because that can be hard sometimes, because if you invest early, like, you have to have liquid capital, right? Because if you invest early and there's no return on your investment, a lot of people just don't bother until the platform's reached, a critical mass, and then it's watered down.
The other thing is like geofencing, which basically means like target your local area. It's more expensive, but
Yeah. Does this interest you? Did you see? You said you didn't even bother with the second one.
I had to turn it off. I watched like half of it. It was just too boring. I'm like, I can't get through this.
I liked it. Like, I
You like
again,
the second
like,
one?
people were complaining because they're like, look, the story is overly simplistic. I said, here's the problem: Hollywood doesn't know how to tell stories at all anymore.
Yeah.
So stick to simple, right?
Well,
Yeah.
The same complaint is made in pro wrestling, where they'd be like, it's an overly simple storyline. It's predictable. I said, predictable doesn't necessarily mean bad. It's all about the execution. I enjoyed the first 2 Avatar movies in so much is that I had a good time at the theaters. Would I go and rewatch any of them? No, I wouldn't. But it gave me the bang for my buck on the theater side of things. I want to see it
It's
on
more.
the big screen.
It's a movie known for the visual aspects, right? Not necessarily the story.
I'm not
as much.
Sure.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to it for rewatch value, but I understand that a lot of people, like, there's an argument to be made where if you're talking about whether a movie is worth watching, right? At one point I toyed with the idea of saying, like, my whole criteria would be, there'd be a binary system. Is it worth rewatching or isn't? But I can't honestly do that because I very rarely rewatch anything. I just rewatched the first Tom Cruise Jack Reacher movie.
Oh, okay.
From 2012 and really, really, really enjoyed it. And realized that there's very few movies that come out these days that I really want to watch a second time. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, or if there's anything that when you see it, you know you want to watch.
I agree
like you were
with you.
saying,
I mean, like,
you're watching Lost again for the 5th time.
Yeah, something like that.
But very
yeah.
few things that are made these days have that rewatch factor.
I've realized more and more that I'm the kind of person that honestly the movies that I watch is because I like an actor. Like I'm particularly fond of DiCaprio, and I love all his movies. And I think that the way the world is that now, since celebrities are on Twitter and Instagram and everything, and honestly, like that dispels the mystique of them. There's like very few actors that I wanna, I don't know, like follow around.
I mean, that's going to be the whole point
sure.
of. That's literally the whole point of the first topic today is about how your social media presence can destroy
you know, you were just saying like movies, they don't really have their rewatchability, but I would totally go see Deadpool again. The new one.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
If for no other reason, like when we were watching, it was like the intro sequence alone was worth rewatching.
Yeah.
Or
Or
Was that
Channing
good?
Tatum's scenes were hilarious.
Yeah.
Where could you watch the original one?
It's on streaming. I mean, or
I think Disney
yeah,
Plus.
it's on Disney Plus.
Disney?
It's owned by 20. They bought 20th
it,
Century
yeah.
Fox many years ago. So it might also be on Hulu or one of the other streaming services right now. But I know for a fact it's on Disney Plus. But whether you want to give Disney Plus to your mom,
I was recently watching it. I don't know if it was the first or the second one, but I don't have Disney Plus, so it's definitely either on like Netflix or Prime if you want to watch it.
Okay.
it's probably Prime.
You
then.
need to watch.
or no, it might be Netflix.
X-Men Origins Wolverine 2 because that's the first time that Ryan Reynolds was
I saw that one.
He's trolling
Okay, I
you
need
right
to
now.
see
You're
that.
not.
Wait,
What?
I was
I'm
really
not-
old.
No, I'm saying like most people don't like that. Ryan
Why?
Reynolds.
His depiction.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's not canon,
No.
but it's still a really cool movie, and that's where the Merc with the mouth kind of like. That's where he kind of came into this character because, like in the beginning scenes of that movie, he's the Deadpool that we know now. But then, anyway, they
So that kind of gives the background story
That's
of
the
why,
first
because I
time
have no idea why
Hugh
there's
Jackman-
a
I
crossover.
actually
But
do
it sounds like
recommend
that's why-
rewatching all of the old 20th Century Fox X-Men.
Oh,
movies.
dude, I did that maybe a year ago or 6 months ago. Oh, totally
Those have
worth it.
unbelievable rewatch factor.
Totally
All of
worth
them.
it, yeah.
So here's some of the other things that have been announced. Dream Productions, which is from the world of Inside Out, which is going to be Pixar's first television show, or I guess streaming show now.
Wait, that's confusing. That's the name of the show.
Yep, Dream Productions. So it says Pixar's latest installment, Inside Out 2, is one of the blockbusters of 2024 and shattered box office records. That is true. And this is going to be, I believe, a 6-episode series on Disney Plus.
Wait, it's a series focused on the movie studio where Riley's dreams are made.
Yep.
I don't even know what that means.
If you're a 14-year-old girl, it's like perfect for you.
Yep. So win or lose, it says after dominating the animated movie medium, Pixar is set to step to the realm of TV series with their debut work. Okay, so this is the one I was thinking of. Win or Lose, which is a new teaser. I can't show you this, guys, again, because we will get copyrighted. Follows the intertwined stories of 8 different characters as they each prepare for their big championship softball game. Could be fun for kids.
Okay.
Again, I don't know.
I think that is I can't remember her actress. She played Phyllis on The Office.
Yeah.
But she's Sadness in Inside Out, and I think that's one of the best casting like that I've ever seen because she's already so mopey, like just who she is
She
as
has
a
that
person.
perfect voice.
So we are going to
Yeah.
get Toy Story 5, of course, because Toy Story is a license to print money for Disney. They will always make
I'm okay
money
with
off of
that.
this.
I'm
Hoppers, so I'm going to
down
go with
with
it. Incredibles 3. I saw genuine excitement for Incredibles 3, despite the fact that I don't know anybody that actually liked Incredibles 2.
I liked it.
Okay.
I don't
liked
remember it, but I will watch the first one over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Zootopia 2, Frozen 3,
Ugh, I'm over this.
Andor
Of course.
season 2. So all of the 10 people that watched Andor will get their second season. Mandalorian and Grogu, Percy Jackson and the Olympians season 2, and of course Snow White, which we are going.
Are
to
they
get
just
into.
like pretending the original those Percy Jackson movies just didn't happen? Who was in those?
Brie Larson, right?
Was it?
Wasn't she in the
Really?
original one?
I'll
I could be
look it up.
misremembering that. You'll have to double check that one for me. All right, guys, let's go. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day? We have like only quasi cringe today
Aw.
because the cringe I wanted to show will of course get us copyrighted.
I will slam you
man.
through the
It's
table.
not. It's not. So we'll do cringe first. So I want to shout out Shane H. Wilder because I cannot show the breakdancing clip, sadly. We will get copyrighted for it at the Olympics. Did you guys see
Oh yeah.
Ray
Oh
Gun
my
at the
God.
Olympics?
We did.
Okay.
There's drama. Have you seen the drama coming out today and the petition that was started?
What?
No.
So apparently she was like set up this like
Oh, because she was part of like a company.
she
that-
set up like this board of advisors, right?
Who? The lady that dances terribly?
to choose who represents Australia in the breakdancing Olympics.
and then she ended up being chosen.
And
That's
she,
crazy.
she basically
Rigged
chose
it?
herself. Yeah, she rigged it.
Oh, man.
Which is kind of like
Never would have guessed.
it's kind of like the greatest troll ever.
Yeah.
If this is what she's doing, but I don't know if she is trolling or if she's just kind of weird.
I don't think she's trolling. Here's Shane's clip though. It just made me laugh because it's got the Perfect.
It may be trolling because
I mean, here's the thing. No one's
unreal.
going to remember anything that happened in the breakdancing competition except for this.
no, there was this one.
It doesn't matter. The
the
fact-
men were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, nobody will remember because
Per
this is
usual.
what people will remember.
I don't think I do not like this is my problem with gymnastics. It's so hard for me to get into a sport that has like subjective scoring, right? Like because it's an art and it's like who are you to say that one person dances better than another person with like breakdancing? Obviously, like she got a 0. I'm pretty sure.
Postmodernist Kellen.
But no, but it's hard. Like you watch soccer, team wins 1-0, boom. But
I mean,
like, how
there's-
do you?
There is
by
subjectivity.
difficulty?
There is subjectivity in how fouls are applied. and things
Sure,
like that,
sure,
so.
but like, you know, like the floor routine in gymnastics, and they have like the level of difficulty that factors in. But I'm like, really, you got that gold medal because you convinced a panel of judges, not because you're necessarily like objectively the best at that sport. It's just like I don't mind them. I'm not saying like
mean,
get rid
this
of these
was true-
sports,
this
but it's
was
just hard for me
true-
to get into it.
This was true in skate competitions.
I agree.
Forever.
I
So
agree.
in skate competitions forever, whenever you would judge, you would have to judge based on trick difficulty as opposed to number of tricks landed. Now, some people would take at skate competitions, like when you do real street competitions, you go from one location to another location to another location. Some people would take the approach where they would try the hardest trick possible. Now, that only works if you're extremely consistent. Right? So you land 2 really, really hard tricks. Other people would take the approach where they would try to do 5 to 10
Right, easy
medium to easy level tricks and prove consistency. And the best tended to be the ones who could blend 1 or 2 very hard tricks that they were very good at with a bunch of medium level difficulty tricks that they are very, very consistent
So it's like a
at.
formula,
Yeah.
almost.
Well, that's what Simone Biles, that was her approach. She did like the hardest thing you can do.
Yeah.
So even if she messed up, she was still going to score higher than the competition.
That goes crazy, dude.
Yeah, we're never going to
Did you
see
see the,
another
did you
one
see
like
the
her.
image of like who is it, like Tom Brady watching her perform? He's like, what the fuck?
No.
It's crazy.
I saw her throwing the inaugural pitch at a game. And she just does like a crazy
Cartwheel.
backflip, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell,
Did you
dude?
see the picture of her next to Shaq? She's 4'8".
Oh, yeah.
She comes up to like his kneecaps. It's
Oh my
Have you
God.
seen the and Shaq's not even that. There's a Shaq standing next to someone else. I can't remember who it was, and it made Shaq look tiny. Like, yeah, she's
oh, Yao Ming makes Shaq look tiny. But there
or
was a
no,
picture of
maybe it
them.
was Shaq and The Rock. It makes The Rock. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
No,
of.
there's the one. So they would do the thing where, because The Rock and Kevin Hart are very good friends, so they would shrink them so that Kevin Hart was really tall
I've seen
and The
those,
Rock was
yeah.
really small. I love those. So it says breakdancing's ray gun stands to make millions in brand deals. So, I saw a sticker when I was home on a car. It says, "I am cringe, but I am free." Maybe that's what this is, right? She's extremely cringe, but she's going to take that all the way to the bank.
Do you know
So
the?
she was the head of a panel, and she appointed herself.
That's what I'm seeing on Twitter, and everyone knows everything you see on Twitter is true. But yeah, there's a petition now with like thousands of signatures in Australia, like condemning how the whole process went down.
It is the quintessential crazy chick move, though.
I also saw this one.
Oh, dude, I love that
It's
scene.
so bad.
That's the
She's
movie I could
feeling
watch
herself.
over and
This
over
is not a
again.
troll.
It's so
She
bad.
is feeling herself.
I would watch that.
I
okay?
would like this scene alone. I'd rewatch that. Which Spider-Man is that? Is
Yeah,
that Spider-Man
3.
3?
Yeah.
Dude, this is
She knew right away. You've apparently seen that one enough, huh?
I love that.
This is Olympic level cringe.
Yeah,
is what it is. Like
it
it's
is.
so bad. I can't.
She gets the gold medal for cringe.
Do you know the Savannah Bananas?
Yes.
No.
They're a baseball team that like they're not a pro baseball
No,
team.
it's basically like the Harlem Globetrotters for baseball.
That's
That's
her angle.
I've wanted to go. We signed
Yeah.
we signed up for tickets. You have like they're
know.
sold out, so you have to actually like enter a raffle just to get in. We
I
didn't
know.
get in.
What?
Do they do cool tricks like
Yeah,
the Globetrotters?
like there's a dude
That's
who
cool.
like if they pop up to the outfield, he does a backflip and catches it as he's doing the
Oh,
backflip.
wow.
Whoa.
Now,
And they
from what
dance and stuff,
from what
and-
I understand, like when you watch it live, it's not as impressive because they don't make the trick every time, but it's still it looks like a lot of fun.
They have all this stuff going on. Like after one inning, like both teams dance and they put like a dance competition.
It's good to bring it.
It's
Like
just
if you've got
silly.
kids,
Yeah.
if you've got kids, it would be fun to bring kids to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's more
It's family.
teams popping up now. Like this, like fun league is like really starting to grow now because people realize like, hey, you can have other teams. Like Savannah doesn't need to have
Yep.
a monopoly on this idea. But yeah, I've looked into tickets too, Brett, and they're harder to get than like Taylor Swift tickets.
Yes, super expensive, and like you have to be chosen, and you still have to pay for them.
Yeah.
but you have to win the raffle, then be chosen.
Now we know how the Swifties feel.
Yep. All right, let's do Q to the day. I moved somebody up the timeline, ladies and gentlemen, because I saw this the other day. Phil Labonte submitted this to me. He says, I made a friend today in Auburn, Washington.
Oh.
Phil Labonte, friend of the show. He's on tour right now and apparently spending time with puppies.
Aw,
And they both look very happy.
Yeah.
that's adorable.
This reminds me of I haven't seen Twisters yet, but this reminds me
You have
of
to
what's his name? Why is it escaping me?
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell with his dog
Yeah.
in the movie. That's what when I saw these photos, I was like, oh, it reminded me of
They
Twisters.
already put Twisters on Pay VOD.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna go see it in a couple weeks in the 4D theater.
It's probably going to be out. Like they're already putting it on streaming.
No, but I'm gonna see it in like the 4D
The 4D,
theater that
that's-
like blows.
That's what
wind
you're
at you and
supposed to see it in.
Really?
Like it's the whole point is to see it in something where it's like immersive and
I
stuff
can't
like
believe that movie too. They got backlash for not talking about climate change, and I'm like,
Based.
oh my god.
The director is an absolute Chad for choosing not to do that.
Seriously.
And saying that it's stupid.
That's what Deadpool did. Like, there's this one line in Deadpool where he goes over like the most political issues, but he doesn't actually say how he stands on them. But he's just like, it's a funny joke because he's like, we're just getting this out of the way because
Yeah.
we're not bringing politics into this movie. It's fun. And yeah, they like gloss over it. It's like, this is how I feel on XYZ, but he doesn't actually tell you. And then they don't address politics at all the rest of the movie. I'm like, good.
Let's do one more here. This one's from I Am Bandit. It says, don't let him fool you. He is a ginormous butthole, but we love him. He does not look like a butthole. He looks plenty friendly.
What kind of dog is that?
He will have to let us know.
One
Yeah, let us
derpy
know.
looking
Bandit, if
dog.
you're watching, let us know.
It looks like Australian
Shepherd.
cattle.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Dingo.
Yeah, it looks like an Australian cattle, maybe some German Shepherd in there.
All right, guys. Now that we are, hold on, let me shrink this, all the tabs. Like literally, half my job is making sure this, the window doesn't just close out from all the tabs that are open.
My favorite
Let's go
part.
ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was like, my favorite part is that when we are an hour in, you say, "Let's start the show."
Well, that's what I'm about to do right now,
right.
my friend. Did you know that? Like, now that we are, what are we, 48 minutes into the show, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? So, right now, over at Disney, of course, we talked about D23, we talked about all the new projects that have been announced, and one of the big ones was, of course, Snow White. Now, of course, I'm a dude. I don't really care a whole lot about Snow White. What I do care about is Disney's continued desire to remake old films and this weird proxy war that seems to be going on with Disney because, of course, Gal Gadot will be playing the evil queen and Rachel Zegler is, of course, playing Snow White. Gal Gadot is a former IDF soldier and Rachel Zegler is very proudly pro-Palestine, and that has turned into a weird argument on the internet, which I find to be absolutely hilarious because globalism fails on every level every time. So here are the facts. The trailer had a huge amount of views. I think it was their third highest viewed trailer for the first 24 hours that they'd done. There was also a heavy amount of dislikes on it. Now, I understand that the dislike button has been called into question as to whether it's accurate or not, so I'm going to discount that entirely. If you're curious about what the number was, it was sitting at 481,000 downvotes
Wow.
to 65,000 upvotes.
I feel like
I don't know if I buy that.
They say stuff like
Yep.
that every time, though, that a video gets a a ton of dislikes.
Yes.
Like, oh, it's a glitch or it's not.
Other people have
It's not
done
real.
have done testing as to how the extension works to figure out whether it's accurate or not. I can't speak to it. I don't know, so I'm not even going to count that against it in the film. What I do know is that there was extensive reshoots in this film that, of course, helped change the look of it entirely. And the media wants this movie desperately to succeed because they want people who are, the average viewer who doesn't like it to be wrong. Right?
Well, how did she get this role, Rachel Zegler?
I mean,
because I've seen the trailer, the singing. She's a good singer, but it's
singer.
not crazy.
She's a good singer. So she was
Her
in
on-screen presence is not very compelling.
She was in the last Hunger Games movie.
Yeah, it
and she
sucked.
but she was the best part of that film.
I disagree.
She was her singing was the only thing about that film that I liked, and I hate musicals.
Oh, that's why
The Hunger Games?
Yeah, the new one was. It's a
It was a
prequel.
musical, yeah.
Oh God.
But no, it's based on a book. The book was already written. So,
Okay.
And there was singing in the book.
but this
too,
is what scares the crap out of me with the new Joker movie. How they're like
Yeah.
advertising it as a musical. I'm like, why? Why are you reinventing the wheel? You had one of the most successful movies in the last decade, and now you're going to completely flip it on its head. And I'm like, I don't understand that decision.
Yeah.
You could take any great movie, and if you try to turn it into a musical, you've just killed the whole excitement for me.
It's.
And I think a lot.
I
of
don't think I'm
people-
going to see it because of that. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe once it comes out on streaming or
We
VOD.
went and saw the Mean Girls musical. It was awful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
it's a musical.
I really hated the Mean Girl, but again, I don't like musicals in general. But maybe it's because
Yeah,
I
I
was
love
going
musicals.
into I enjoyed that Hunger
I
Games
like 'em
movie.
too.
But
Yeah,
the
they're
point
good.
being here is what it is now is that the internet's divided because people that are very, very big fans of Rachel Zegler hate Gal Gadot because she's Israeli. Okay. And people that are talking about Gal Gadot are wondering why Disney is allowing all of this to happen, because Rachel Zegler, while thanking fans for everybody showing up to watch the trailer, then decided to just add in the same thread, because she is completely incapable of removing her politics from her work. She says, "I love you all so much. Thank you for the love and the 120 million views on our trailer in just 24 hours. What a whirlwind. I am in the thick of rehearsals for Romeo and Juliet, so I'm going to get out of here. Bye for now." And then she tweeted under that, and as always, free Palestine.
This is the perfect.
And always remember, free
perfect example of Tim talks about this all the time, but Israel derangement syndrome. It's like there are so many conflicts and tragedies going on right now in the world, and people just fixate on this one.
Yeah.
And it's baffling. It's baffling.
Here was a post. Somebody said the CGI dwarfs in Snow White look fine, but they need to reshoot the evil Zionist Gal Gadot. It's weird. So we live in a world right now where entertainment is a globalist endeavor. None of these companies operate only in one place. They operate all over the world. And you have to now worry every time you hire someone how their work will come into conflict with someone else, or how their internet activity will come into conflict
or you
with
have to
someone
hope
else.
there's some other big event that happens that everyone starts focusing their attention
No,
on
but
and forgets about.
that's the thing. Like, we could
whatever
have
X
another, God forbid, we could have another 9/11 in this country, and I guarantee she'd still be talking about Palestine.
Yes, of course.
Think so?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if depending on where you sit in the oppression scale, identity politics would dictate that they are still more oppressed than the United States.
Yeah, and this has become like. I mean, I don't want to get into the weeds on why why people fixate on these issues, but it's obviously filling a void. This is part of her identity in place of something else.
It's to be liked.
Maybe.
At the end of the day,
I don't think
is.
so. I think for these young people, I think they're actually ideologues.
Yeah, Gen Z, we were taught, we grew up with the expectation that we need to be activists, we need to stand up for the little guy. But the problem is there's really not that much, there's not that many atrocities going on in this country. So people have to fabricate it. They have to fill that void.
And for the people on the internet, it's almost worse. Then it's just a form of entertainment. It's just a form of team sport mentality as entertainment.
Yeah.
I just want to know, you have been held accountable, and other people are saying you're being too hard on her. She was young when she made those initial statements about the evil queen and about not being saved by the king or by the prince. And to be fair, Gal Gadot made her own annoying, stupid comments and all of that as well. She's the one who said that she's not going to be saved by the prince. there was no reason for either of them to make those comments, but Gal
Right.
Gadot gets more leeway because she's better liked and she's a better name, right? But I want to know, after everyone tells you that it's a bad idea, why now you would still include this?
Well, like this is like, imagine, I keep bringing up the Deadpool movie just because it's the newest one, like the latest one I've seen. But imagine if Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds were beefing like this in the lead up to the movie. Yeah. Like, it's insanity. Like, your two main stars of this movie can't stand each other.
And to be fair, Gal Gadot doesn't seem to be making any statements of the sort right now. It's just coming from the other side.
Well, and it's important to note, Gal, she doesn't need to say anything because she was already, like you said, she's a vet, right? She was Wonder Woman. She's on top of the world.
And
Rachel still has a good way to climb.
She does advocate for Israel plenty, but she's not doing it in tweets connected directly to the movie, okay? The other thing that I saw, which I thought was very, very interesting, so I've mentioned to you guys several times that they're including Sabra in the next Captain America movie, who is an Israeli superhero who was part of the Mossad. There was at one point they were going to change the background of the character and just make it one of the girls from the Black Widow program. Now apparently they are going to include her Israeli heritage. Now there's this weird same type of derangement. According to this person says, "I wish that this movie wasn't Israeli propaganda because Sam deserves a real movie." What they believe on Twitter is that Captain America 4 with Sam Wilson rather than, Steve Rogers isn't going to fail because they race swapped, Captain America and put in a different actor. They believe that it's actually going to fail because it's Israeli propaganda.
Well, the thing is, when you start getting into this like identity politics, especially in entertainment, right, it's very hard for the audience to then relate and connect with that story and that character. It's a reason I didn't really like the Avatar 2 movie. I couldn't relate to weird aliens on a distant planet. Like, they're what am I rooting for?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is going to happen here. It's hopefully it does well with the kids. I mean, this is a kids movie at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. She needs to just, I feel like she keeps putting her foot in her mouth.
Yeah.
And this has been an ongoing thing since she came onto the scene.
There is a good argument to be made that your job when you're making these movies is to put your personal beliefs aside and focus on getting the best return on investment for the company, right? So I'm not even saying she shouldn't say whatever she wants. I'm saying don't attach it to the same post that you directly connected to the trailer.
I just think the issue with this is that as per the script for progressive NPCs go, it's that when called into question, double down. Yeah. Like, it's never a moment of self-reflection. By the way, this is
not even self-reflection, just like letting it go,
which would
always
be the mature thing to do, right? Yeah. By the way, this is no endorsement on either side. Like, I honestly couldn't care less about the conflict at all.
It's a proxy war where everybody loses because the rest of us don't care.
But that's the thing. Like, for whatever reason, like this issue specifically, like when you criticize Israel or Palestine, the people that are so vocal about it, they feel like you're actually like attacking them personally. They feel personally attacked, and because they make it such a big part of their identity.
This is why I think that globalist entertainment is untenable. Meaning that my point being that the broader your scope goes, the harder it is to make things without bumping into other people.
I think there's a small exception to that, and it's games.
Okay.
And for example, we recently had the World Championship of Fighting Games, and it's multiple games and platforms, and the best players from all around the world come and play. And it's always incredible because some countries lean to some characters, some countries lean to some play styles, and I believe that in the top 8 finalists, it was from 7 different countries, all using 7 different characters.
Yeah.
So when I guess where I think we've all heard this cliche once, that sometimes limitations expand creativity.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the best art and stuff will be created when you have less resources, right? There's a reason why Joker was as successful as it was, because it only had a $55 million budget, so they actually did more with less.
And
rather than a superhero movie that costs $200 million to make.
Correct. And since the games have the limitation of the engine, the characters, the medium, then skill expression and how it pertains to your individuality and your nationality, it comes into play in interesting different ways. Whereas movies and things that are more based on current events or past events or something like that, that's where like the social political things come into place, and you're bound to trigger someone over something, you know.
There's a 20 here from Crispy Leg Transport LLC. Says, Caption Hawk didn't work in the comics. I think he means he's talking about Captain Hawk. Yeah, well, I would have rather they just waited and didn't bring Sam Wilson in as Captain America. I would have rather they just left him as the character.
I think the MCU needs to play to their strengths on this particular topic. There's was it Iron Man was despised if you were a comic book reader. Like, no one liked Iron Man, and then they make this successful franchise by telling a great story.
I mean, I don't know about that.
But
he wasn't an A-list
but
character.
There's so many characters out there that they could do that with, and there's just like, I mean,
it was
Disney,
like when they were
rinse
talking,
and repeat, rinse and
It was
repeat.
what they were talking
It's the
about.
same like 5 characters every time.
In the new Batman, the Caped Crusader, they gender swapped Penguin, and Bruce Timm says it's because Batman doesn't have great villains, and everyone's just listing off all of the great. I was like, what about
Batman doesn't have great villains?
Yeah, it's like, well, what? He's like, what about Talia al Ghul? Like,
Dude,
there's
so many.
infinite number of villains. You know, Daughter of the Demon,
Sandman,
Nisaratka. There's all sorts.
Sandman.
Well, no, not Sandman, but
who am I thinking of?
the point being that there was no reason
Scarecrow.
to do that
The
other
Riddler.
than just modern day agenda.
And
but
as
again,
someone who knows nothing about comics, it didn't even occur to me that there are so many options out there.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they just keep making movies about the same superheroes and the same
Look,
characters.
It's been stale for a
over and
while.
over
there's an
again,
argument to be made that there's a reason that works, right? There's a reason why nobody went to see the Eternals, because nobody knows who any of those characters are. Okay, there's a reason why they bring back the same characters over and over again, because names do sell.
Look at
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
they just default to that.
Shang-Chi, very successful. New story. I think
not very,
it's
barely broke even.
Okay, maybe not
Very successful.
But
Nothing
in terms
in Phase
of
4
like,
was other than
most people like the movie. Is my
other
point.
than I don't think that's true either.
Really?
Other than Guardians, I don't think anything in Phase 4 was really
So
successful.
again, I think the issue is that as media becomes more personalized, we will stray from having these huge things that unite us all. Because when you had to sit in front of the television from 8 to 9 and watch the X amount of commercials to watch the show that everyone needed on demand at the time,
You couldn't pause.
then the conversation was global. And we're not going to have that because like
Nothing connects us anymore.
my advertisements are not your advertisements, and they will never be.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, even when I send memes with people, it's like the ones that I get are different from the ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like
I
your,
love it. In the chat, they're mentioning all of the great villains.
Like,
Yes, I would say Catwoman, great villain. Nisaratka, great villain. Daughter of the Demon, Nissa Al
I thought
Ghul.
I thought Catwoman was an anti-hero.
kinda
I mean,
is.
you can still be a villain.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to go on your point about like video games, right? That's the culture that people come to. Like, it's the central culture that everyone comes to play is the game. Where movies, they're all these different cultures are trying to insert their own.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
And
is
it doesn't work.
which is why movie making in specific regions works. Bollywood works
Right.
because they stick to their own values, right?
Right.
China barely even imports our movies anymore. They just make their own movies and make a ton of money off them because they have a universal idea for what they want in their culture. America is kind of based off this multicultural society now, and Hollywood has its own idea of what you in Middle America should value.
It was-
and it
Interesting,
doesn't
'cause
work.
I feel like before they started doing that, a lot more successful and better quality movies were coming out of Hollywood.
Yes.
Well, we've lost the plot because it's not about multiculturalism anymore. It's about multiracial, or like just like its identity, right? So it's not
Well,
actually.
there's no entwined American values that are seen as above your race and gender, right? So at a certain, like I saw somebody in the chat earlier mentioned America First. Yeah, like if there was the idea that you can make a movie about people of different races, different genders, but you all value being an American and had a similar idea of what it means to be an American, then that would be good. There's a reason why Captain America worked, because there was still an underlying undercurrent of patriotism about the character, and that isn't there anymore.
There's a so for the first, I think it's the first time ever, there's going to be an NFL game in Brazil.
Okay.
I think it's week 1. I can't remember, but it's the Packers versus the Eagles, and the NFL's warning them. They're both teams that wear the color green. They're like, you can't wear green.
Thank you.
Because in Brazil, I forgot how long this was.
Brett and Mary will just power
So-
through it, and I like can't talk through the
In-
music.
Just gotta dance.
In Brazil,
Dance it out.
the rivalry for soccer is so crazy there. Like, people will fight you, and that's one of the soccer teams wears green. So they're telling the NFL professional football players are telling these teams, you can't wear green because there's gonna be riots. Like you're
Brazilians, am I
risking
right?
yourself. But like we're talking about like this, the culture. It's like something we can't really comprehend. Americans were just like, oh, we'll just play a football game in Brazil, not really thinking about like.
Something as innocuous as a color.
Right. Well, just like, oh, we'll just, they've got stadiums. We'll just do it there. It's like, no. You need to take into account like their values and their culture. And, no,
that's
a great point.
They don't.
That's an interesting point. And if you guys permit me to nerd out for 1 minute, like I just recently switched from this. I'm a loser, okay? From Yu-Gi-Oh to Magic the Gathering.
Nice.
And in Yu-Gi-Oh, we don't have this culture of like, hey, I have a really good deck. Like you have to warn someone beforehand that you freaking rule or something. and in Magic, like I don't know, like people are really butthurt like when you like play something good. I don't know why. It's
They'll
like,
be like, oh, why didn't you tell me you had that card?
yeah. It's
bro?
like, well, why? What's your thing's really good? Like, how dare you? It's like, yeah, I'm trying to win. Like, what's like,
Yeah.
what? And I don't know. It's
That is confusing.
so.
Like, why would I tell you I have the ace?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's- yeah.
So for me, it's like I'm completely out of it. But like sometimes on Fridays, I go to my local store to play. And I find it so funny. Like people sit around, it's like they literally give you the entire breakdown of their strategy they want to do first. It's like I would never say that. I just sit there quietly. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think the problem is that people have trouble now looking at cultures, even if they don't understand them, just subjectively, and not being like, oh, well, I don't understand this aspect of even your own culture, and feeling like I have to change this. Like I have to force change upon this aspect of our culture. Like I feel like that's kind of where we lose the plot a little bit.
There's just no like central shared culture. Like everyone needs a piece of the pie now, right? Everyone needs to put their own
there's too much
ingredients in
money
the
in it.
pie,
I
and
think
it's like
it's
it ends
all,
up being gross.
I think the last one was Game of Thrones. Like after Game of Thrones, there really hasn't been this like, whoa, did you see that?
The Boys was kind of there for a while until like the last season or two. It's gotten really bad.
I don't
just
think it was,
really on
like,
the nose. Most people
quite that
were.
low.
I mean, it would every time there was a new episode, it would trend on Twitter and
Yeah,
stuff.
But Trent, for me, it's the abuelita test. It's like, does your grandma know? You know what I mean?
My grandma she just figured out YouTube. She's like, oh yeah, just watch YouTube because there's so much stuff on there.
Well,
I'm
that
like,
means YouTube
Yep.
just now started popping.
yeah. So. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I forget where this conversation started.
So it's crazy. I went to change buttons and said request access to stream, and I just had to do that on the fly. So thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah, something crashed. This stopped working for a second.
We're good.
Tried to fix
We're
it.
good, guys.
job,
All right,
Brett.
let's. I had to do it because I wanted to be able to look at the super chats, and thank you, chat, for bearing with us while we figured that out because that was crazy. I was like, we were still streaming. And then it like wouldn't give me access, so I had to like text and get a request for access to the stream. Okay,
Your own stream.
we're good. So let's go ahead and let's check out some super chats here, and I'm gonna have trouble cutting this up later, so that's gonna be fun. All right, first things first. Hold on here.
Yes, Brett
If you
is
wanna-
sad,
If you want to
Marcos.
scroll up, I can read them.
Yep,
If that's easier.
we got it right here. Let's.
Sweet. All right. From Andrew Jacobs. Happy birthday, Mary. You're almost the exact same age as Limp Biscuits, Chocolate Starfish, and the hot dog flavored water. Keep on rolling, baby.
Thank you.
Knowing
Yes.
Mary, I can almost guarantee she's not watching this stream
Yes.
on her birthday.
So whenever I was out of town and Kellen was doing the show, I would check in periodically to make sure he wasn't breaking
He
anything.
got so upset. I moved his chair slightly. And he got so
I was
upset.
like, put my chair back, okay? I don't like. I came in on Monday of the day. I'm like, nothing. Like the mouse is now the wrong distance away from my hand, and I can't reach over here. It was
goodness.
awful. Let's do 2 more.
Thankfully, Mary's not so anal about her chair.
Yep.
All right. Shane H. Wilder, happy we're back Wednesday. Brett, Dane, Kellen, and Sara. Brett, we give you 2 days off, and you let Cashman's demons take over the studio?
No, I'm starting to think
it's
it was
the
a birthday.
weather.
I'm starting to think Mary threw like a birthday rave for herself.
Could've
and
been.
that's what we were witnessing.
Go check out my Twitter if you want to see what it looked like when I came up here in the morning.
Looked pretty cool. I mean, definitely overwhelming.
Not when you're like, oh, I've got to get this all figured out before showtime. I was like, because look, Chris does the automation for the show, so I can't do any of that, and I wouldn't have had access to that stuff anyways. So I'm like, bro, it's just broke. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm like literally, I'm like, everything is broke. So not only that, the crisis party just kept repeating.
Nice.
Like it wasn't getting set off.
That's
it was just
creepy.
like, it was just like, dun, dun,
Thank God you changed it, right? Because if not, I would have been the boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. So, first of all, somebody should get us to a second crisis party right now. That was my plug for the show.
Yep.
But so I had to turn the volume all the way down because while we're trying to get everything reconnected, it's just it was horrible.
Intense.
Let's do 2 more.
For no reason. All right. Shane H. Wilder, Dane, the electric camel in chat wants you to know that you are his role model. He will grow up to hate boomers as much as you, maybe even more.
Impossible. But
Inspiring.
you should aim.
Do 1 more.
From V Wit, what's up, party people? Do you miss me?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Actually, do a couple more here because I got to send a couple. I got to send Chris a message.
Can you scroll a little bit down? Just a hair.
Yep.
Yep.
just
Perfect. I already read that one. Okay. Pop culture junkie Brett, do you know anyone who is streaming Dominion? I do have a VPN. Hint, hint.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
I don't know.
If anyone knows where I can stream the show Raised by Wolves 2, season
Isn't
2,
that on
let me
HBO?
know. It's not, and it's nowhere to be found.
They
That
also-
sounds like our girl show so bad. Raised by
No, it's
Wolves.
like a sci-fi show, right?
It is a super sci-fi
Yeah.
show. Do you like sci-fi? No.
Kind of.
They also
If you do, it's really good.
they took off what's the rope? Westworld. I don't know why. Like, yes, I understand they canceled the series,
License.
but
It's
like,
something about
Oh
licensing.
no! But
Brett's
what
explained
they
it to me
did is
before.
they put it on like Amazon Prime Fast, so it's like freebie. So so they make more money by giving it over to a network where they can license it out, so that network can put it on with ads.
Do you know what show
the
I
first
saw
2 seasons are great. I want to watch it again.
that freaking ruled was Beef on Netflix?
Yeah.
That was good.
Is that-
I
Yeah.
love what's his name? I
No
love
clue.
that guy.
That's
He
like
was
the
really
Asian
good.
American show, right?
Yeah.
Asian theme. Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
It was
and
really
people
good.
said it's really good.
Basically Gal Gadot versus Rachel Zegler. It's just
I mean, it's actual beef. The last episode I thought was kind of defeated the whole purpose
I think
of
they're
the show.
doing another season.
Yeah,
but it's
with different people,
characters,
yeah.
which I like that. It's a good idea.
People beef.
So it'll be an anthology series.
I
guess.
Different people in the second season.
I mean, I think it's gonna be like Fargo, where it's
Oh yeah.
yeah. So there's probably gonna be like a shared universe of some sort.
I think they said it's gonna be like 2 married couple beefing now.
Oh, nice. That'll be good. Are you watching Smiling Friends?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's like the new Rick and Morty, like the new
Yeah.
We need a new Rick and Morty.
It's not like the show, but just the fact that it's adult animation and it's like taking the world by storm.
Every time somebody suggests like shared universe now, every company needs to hire an executive whose job it is just to come in and say no.
I still want Jurassic Park X Fast and Furious.
I know, right? Well, they're
Yes.
making a new Jurassic Park with Scarlett Johansson. So Scarlett Johansson in a muscle car driving into a dinosaur.
Who
Okay.
owns that franchise?
Get out of my head.
I believe it's Paramount.
Have you watched the new ones?
Yes.
They made it too like
I'm sorry, Universal.
it's weird because like now like I was watching someone was at a theme park and now like the dinosaurs walking around, everyone's like, oh my god, it's blue, like that's the name of the dinosaur. I'm like, when I was growing up watching the original like Jurassic Park movies, that wasn't a thing.
So it should
it's just
be,
like,
what
ooh,
it should
there's a
be, it should be
T-Rex.
Fast and the Furious, Jurassic Park, Transformers, and G.I. Joe, and it's just vomit on. It's just explosion vomit.
Michael
on screen.
Bay.
Yes, but no. So I was telling this story last week. I think the end of the world actually did happen in 2012. I do. I think
Yeah,
the
Mayan
Mayan calendar
Yes.
thing, right? So
I remember that day. It was super stormy too.
in
California.
2012, in 2012, somebody thought it would be a good idea to make a movie about the game Battleship. And it's literally just exploding aliens and humans on ships. And somehow, in the year 2012, that movie got made and Michael Bay didn't direct it, which is the strongest evidence I have that a timeline shift happened somewhere. Because he ended up making Pain and Gain the year after.
There was that movie, Pacific Rim, and Battle of Los Angeles.
All at the same time.
Like, they're like all the same movie.
Yeah.
I like
the first Pacific Rim.
Okay. I didn't know there was more.
I think there was
one.
like Pacific Rim Uprising after that. I don't think I ever saw that one.
Interesting. That was a weird time for Hollywood movies. This is when the Transformer movies were big.
They were looking for the next big, explosion property and weren't able to really nail it down. Yep.
I mean, I like the idea of Battleship because have you watched Greyhound with on Apple TV?
I am against Apple TV in all its forms.
It's Tom Hanks. He's piloting a ship during World War II, and just him navigating.
It sounds pretentious.
I hate Tom Hanks, and I think he's the most pretentious human being alive.
I love Tom Hanks.
He's so annoying.
I liked him when I was a kid. But not.
Supposedly, the new show that Vince Vaughn has coming out is from Apple TV, and it's good. So
okay.
But again,
just don't meet your heroes, man.
Dude, I mean, he's not my hero, but like, I just can't separate the art from the artist with him because he's such a snob.
That's what I mean by don't meet your heroes. Like that's like just don't follow any of those people on social media.
Once you do it for work, you just get so desensitized to it, you don't even care. I was like, what it is it's great to have a brain that you've just destroyed over the years, because now I'm like, I vaguely remember them saying something stupid. Oh well.
Dude, after you meet Alex Jones, no one's interesting. Like, no one's even remotely, like,
He's the one hero I would say you should meet. He's the one hero you should try.
A lot of people surprise me when I meet them for the first time through this job. He's one where I'm like, oh no, like he's totally what you expect. You know?
It happens. All right, let's go ahead and move on then. Let's move on to J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk. So, as you guys know, there was an Olympic-sized kerfuffle going on in the women's boxing in the Olympics, and some of the people that spoke out about this are both Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling, and now both of them are being sued and called cyberbullies. I didn't even know you could sue someone for cyberbullying.
Who would sue Elon Musk?
Seriously,
That's
right?
a joke in and of itself. Yeah.
So this is what it says. Algerian boxer Amin Khalif, who is alleged to have male XY chromosomes and who competed against women to win gold at the Paris Olympics, has filed a criminal complaint to French authorities claiming that author J.K. Rowling and tech billionaire Elon Musk participated in a campaign of cyber harassment. It's funny because this comes at the same time where we were told by UK authorities that they are going to extradite us if we say something negative about the British government. It almost makes me want to make a boomer meme like laughs in 1776 or something like that.
I can't believe people are okay with this stuff.
Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like if you actually go and talk to the general public, the thing is though is like we think it's crazy because we talk about this stuff on a regular basis. If you were to ask the everyday person who doesn't think about things like whether free speech is necessary or how important it is, doesn't really understand the importance of things like the Constitution, they don't really think of it that way. They're like, well, you shouldn't be able to, what if you're saying something mean? Right. Like that is actually a position that adults who think that they're rational take, not understanding the levels in which government will go to abuse such a thing.
Default setting, as you say, like,
well, I mean,
if you got nothing to hide, what are you worried about?
No, you think that wouldn't work, but that's exactly what people said post 9/11, right? It was like, oh, well, why do you care if the NSA is listening? You're not doing anything wrong, are you?
Yeah, because we're never taught how nuanced it is, and it's not a coincidence most people go to public schools that are funded by the government, so it kind of makes sense. It comes full circle.
It's definitely interesting with the internet and social media on this free speech issue. It's just kind of a new realm that we're still getting used to, but I think we do a really good, at least America, we do a really good job as a society in policing ourselves, right? If you go to the mall or the movie theater and you just start shouting F-bombs at the top of your lungs, your peers, the people in your community will shut you down, right? You're not going to get arrested, but you're going to get People are going to tell you to stop. You're going to get dirty looks, right? You're going to be rejected by that community.
The internet is different, though.
Exactly. It's a very
We got a $20 super chat here from Pop Culture Junkie. Says, Brett, my error. Do you know anyone who is streaming Continuum? No, I don't. Honestly, the best thing you can do for something like that, for shows that are kind of, they live in this weird middle ground where they're never on any streaming services, and a lot of the great Canadian shows from that time period is you just got to buy them. You got to either buy the physical media, or if you don't want to do that, you can buy them on Amazon Prime. You can use other methods, but I'm not allowed to legally, approve of that.
I'm recently learning the importance of buying physical copies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because most of the consoles that I have, I just get the digital version where I download the game. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, okay, server's down. And then all the games that you owned, if they weren't in your console, you just lost them forever. It's like, oh, well, I just lost like 5
we've slowly been losing ownership of like all of our stuff because you still pay for it,
or you're
paying just as much.
Well, you're renting it basically because they can lose the license for that product.
Well, that's what it is.
It's gone.
To verify the license, to verify that you own this game, you have to have an internet connection. So like, if the internet goes out, there's some games that you're not able to play, and it's so dumb. It's like I paid for this, but. Sucks.
Too bad.
So just look for that show. Like, there's a lot of those shows from Canada that came out in like the early 2010s that I really enjoyed.
The 100.
No, because that's on
good.
Netflix. That was a big show. That was a CW show. There was other shows that they never broadcast past Showcase, which was a network in Canada.
Oh, interesting.
You're just not going to find them on American streaming services, so you might have to go buy them. But anyway, so back to what you're saying. Yes, the internet is very different than what is going on in the real world. Somebody might police you if you're saying something stupid in the real world in a way that you deem acceptable. But on the internet, everybody's got a different idea of what is in fact acceptable, and it usually devolves into a bunch of people who want to be authoritarian over one another.
So what specific posts are
okay,
they?
so I couldn't find them. I pulled up the J.K. Rowling ones that at least mention by name.
Right.
So the J.K. Rowling one says media outlets might relish the surge of clicks they gain by distorting biological realities. However, these lies have serious consequences. It is not an exaggeration to fear that such distortions may soon get someone killed. This was an article called Fact or Fiction. Olympic boxer Amin Khalif is male and should not be allowed to fight. That's what the article says.
What this lawsuit is shutting down the conversation. And when you don't allow people to have the conversation, that's how you lose support for your cause.
Yep.
I mean, like let's say, I mean, I don't know a good example, but let's say Elon Musk was wrong about everything he posted here. Let him be wrong, and everyone can see him being wrong.
That's the whole point, right? That's what they're talking about right now. There was the thing that came out the other day when that crazy reporter asked the press secretary, the Elon Musk might be doing a lot of misinformation over there during that Twitter space, and then wanted them to shut it down. And this is from the guy who believes that supposedly democracy dies in darkness. Yeah. Journalists, right?
Mommy, people can say mean things. How can you stop them?
I'm pretty sure the United Auto Workers are suing Elon over the Trump interview as well.
Why?
Because Trump made some comment about if employees go on strike, just fire them. And I'm like that's what you guys are so upset about? Like,
everyone wants to. They will take their moment to grab cash. It's not a moral issue. Like, let's be real. I'm sure some people do see it that way, and the message that's sent is that, so it is important and it has a ripple effect. But I have a feeling that they're more motivated by their pockets.
So true, Queen.
It upsets me because everyone's just crying over spilled milk, and so when there's actually something to be upset about, I don't care. Your words mean nothing to me anymore.
By the way, do we know if them what actually they is?
Was it confirmed that she was a man?
We'll never know.
It's a very interesting. It's a very interesting situation from what I've read. Like, it's very complex and.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so initially the discussion broke down because it's not as simplistic. I mean, a lot of people were even saying that they were trans,
right?
And that wasn't accurate. That wasn't true. Again, it is your right to be wrong.
Right.
You have every right in the world to say something and be wrong. And the whole thing is that the public should then tell you you're wrong, and then you learn from it, right? Like one of the things that
opinion.
Yeah, right? So it goes on. So it says the lawsuit was filed against X, which is under French law, means that it was filed against unknown persons. That ensures that the prosecution has all the latitude to be able to investigate against all people, including those who may have written hateful messages under pseudonyms. Again, who decides what is hateful? Who decides? That term right away, like when hate speech laws first started being talked about, anyone with half a brain understood that the subjectivity to such a thing was going to lead to horrible things and horrible censorship.
I just have trouble wrapping my head around how France expects this to go anywhere. Like, I assume Elon probably has some kind of assets in France, but he's an American citizen. Like, his businesses are based out of America for the most part. Yep. So like I don't know how this is going to play out.
These EU people are getting a little uppity lately, eh?
They're all,
I don't know, they're like, well, if you talk mean about Britain,
yeah,
go
right?
get you.
They're going to be very mad if you say anything mean. Oh, no, and here's the thing.
The British were the cowards that stayed.
People were laughing about the fact that the UK said we will extradite you for saying mean things on the internet. We live in a time right now where we have an administration that would probably be willing to do that.
Maybe.
Right?
That's scary.
Like this, we don't live.
So true, Ken.
Like, do you really believe that anybody from the current administration is going to stand up for your right to free speech? They don't even believe in free speech.
But they helped out Brittany Griner, right? They saved her.
Oh, that was
would
crazy.
save us,
Did you see? Yeah. Did you see that Brittany Griner like stood up and cried during the medal ceremony? Funny with a couple of months in
and
a
I was
Russian
just
prison,
gonna say, people don't realize how good we have it. That our biggest problems right now is a boxer suing Elon Musk because he said bad words. He said things that hurt
his feelings.
Yeah,
her feelings.
And then he or she, I'm not sure, but
the idea of hate.
And then the UK, they're just like, oh, you said a thing that I don't like. Like if that's the biggest problems that we're facing right now. I mean, things
how
are
dare
pretty
they
good.
say that to America? Because it's like, I can't speak for myself, but most people that live here, they're the descendants of American immigrants that came, or of British immigrants that came from Britain to escape that kind of persecution. So honestly, that kind of is like, it's a little sassy for me.
The ones in England are the ones that didn't come.
Yes,
right.
They were the cowards that scared a little water. I can't get out the boat. There's water.
The idea of the term hateful being used is as subjective as it gets, right?
Right.
The things me and Dane say to each other in jest would make a lot of people very, very upset.
I'm going to report you in the UK.
One of the most eye-opening things that happened to me was I came here and all of the employees are from like the West Coast. I think all the people from the East Coast are super mean. And I'm like, no, we're just like edgy. We don't like, we don't beat around the bush. We'll call you names, but in the West Coast, it's like very fake.
When you go to New York for the first time and you realize how forward people are and how,
Yeah, and people think you're being mean. I'm like, no. That's just how we are.
Yeah. It's like you go to meet somebody in California, like, oh, how do you do? What's your name? And you meet somebody from New York. Who is this?
Right? Or it's like if
it's not meant in a negative way. That's just their demeanor.
In New York, like someone would be like, oh, Dane, what the heck are you wearing on your feet, man? Those look terrible. And then in California, they'll be like,
my wife got me these.
And they'll be like, actually, I hear those are really comfortable. But in California, they'll be like, oh, those are so cool, even if they hate them.
Which is arguably way worse.
As the representative of California,
it's true.
Ease up a little bit. It's maybe in LA. In LA for sure, there's that mean girl like, oh my god, I love your skirt, just so she'll keep wearing it again because it's the most hideous skirt
she's
ever seen.
One of the most universal truths is that women will love to just give their friends bad advice so that they look.
Someone said that's. I read an interesting like thread on like they said that's why OnlyFans is so popular because it's really just like a gigantic game of women trying to like shut down other women. Whoa. And so it's like they're convincing them to get on OnlyFans and just so they rise to the top.
There was this thread of this girl who made this video about her like getting married to her boyfriend who was in jail, and the whole thread was just women going like, yeah, if it's true love, do it. And I'm just like, all of these women know that marrying a dude who's going to be in jail for 10 years is a bad idea. Yeah. But they're telling you this because they don't want to see you happy. Or they're so deluded that they don't understand that what you're doing.
Well,
is bad.
I think that there's a female drive to be liked. It's like true from infancy. When you're born, girls make more eye contact than boys, which is why I also think that women's decision making should be questioned sometimes, because we cannot help but be driven by that motivation. We have to be liked because we can't really offer anything else, right? Like, we can't build a house. We can't, like, you know,
I mean,
like, we don't hunt, we don't gather. So we offer pleasantry, and we have to be liked to be part of the tribe.
You know,
it's a very, like, reptilian brain.
Consensus building, and that's why things will get worse as more and more women take over government. Consensus building.
That's
Well,
funny.
that's why we have DEI right now.
That's
Just
funny
saying.
because a seldom spoken about red flag is when you're trying to date anyone, and I've had this happen to me a couple of times, and they're like, I need you to meet X, and it's very critical for me if X likes you or whatever, being a friend and yada yada. By the way, I usually pass, not always, but then it's like, if my buddies were like my wife,
Who cares?
I wouldn't even get so, well, you don't marry her then.
I'm like, all right, man, then just
Canadian?
don't come over to the house. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
what
know what to tell you.
And I've never even had that issue of like some guys be like, you know what, we met Maria and we don't like
No, the
Like, what
worst
the
that
fuck?
I've ever gotten it was just like, hey, like, if I'm asking you to hang out, that's not an invitation to your girlfriend too. Like, I've seen that before, and like,
Yeah,
but that's
annoying.
usually where it starts for men, and that's where it ends. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
just like I want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to hang out with the couple.
oh my god.
Right?
I did not advocate for being a third wheel today. Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But
Look,
hey, every tricycle.
Here, here's the long and the short of it. Elon Musk has a lot of money, and J.K. Rowling has a lot of money. You or I probably don't have the money to fight the type of lawsuit that could come down for something like this, which is
can.
why
I'm
you should be
loaded.
scared of this type of authoritarian behavior creeping into the system, especially as more and more of our communication happens digitally. You know, it's one thing to make a joke about someone in the real world where then they would have to prove that you said it. And then, of course, go to court like this. But this case could have long-standing repercussions for anyone who just wants to be able to say something on the internet and have the ability to say it and be wrong.
Well, we've lost the whole like, hey, just shut your computer, just close the laptop. Like, no one
Yeah,
even
get off the
talks about
internet.
that
Well,
anymore.
no, okay,
now it's
so
expected. Like,
what happened was, what I thought was really interesting was when Kyle Rittenhouse made his comments about voting for Ron Paul. People were like, "I'm canceling my speech that I was going to give at some event that you were going to host or something," right? So it's not like he can just close it and be done with it. He now has to worry about how those words will affect business dealings that he's had online.
so stupid.
So.
Yeah, and that's like, use that as an example when people say cancel culture is only on the left or cancel
no,
culture
yeah.
is not
Oh, no,
real.
uh-huh.
I'm like, nah, man, it's everywhere. I think it's a symptom of the internet.
And collectivism as a whole.
Yeah.
Communism.
And people forgetting, like, you really have no control over someone else's actions or thoughts or beliefs. And even if you get them to apologize, they haven't actually changed their opinion. They're just apologizing because you got mad.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
That's true.
I do think it's interesting though, because like in the article, it makes it seem like they're suing Elon and JK.
No, they're suing X.
Okay, so right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. So they're
But
suing
it says
X.
J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk are named in the lawsuit amongst others, adding that Donald Trump would be part of the investigation. Trump tweeted, "So whether or not he is named in our lawsuit, he will inevitably be looked into as part of the prosecution." But he didn't tweet about it. He probably truthed about it. I don't think he'd come back
He's
to
back-
Twitter.
oh, yeah,
I don't
you're
think he'd
right.
come
He
back
hadn't
to
yet.
Twitter yet at that point.
I don't think this. I mean, like, this is what's interesting because it's France, you know,
Yeah.
that's suing the United States basically. But you know, was it section? What is it? 213
Of
is
the,
the protection. So if Elon Musk posts something, you can't sue X, even though he owns it,
Says-
right? Like, that's what that law is. Like,
just
love it or
crazy.
hate it.
What we're asking is that the prosecution investigates not only these people, but whoever it feels necessary. If the case goes to court, they will stand. And if the case goes to court, they will stand trial. Adding that the lawsuit could target personalities overseas. You will then be jailed for being a cyberbully.
Listen, you won't stop me from making fun of Canadians. You cannot.
Crossbacks.
There is
a lot
no,
of them.
There is no law.
I don't know. Canada right
That's so
now.
funny. Was it-
Canada's on my list a little bit higher than the UK.
I
Just
saw
a little bit.
I saw somebody who was at like Lil Pump was like, if Donald Trump loses, I'm moving to Canada. I'm like, that's worse. Why would you leave here? That's horrible.
No, Lil Pump.
No, don't do it.
Even on our worst days, we are still the best.
Well,
Like,
still-
better than most.
Still, and definitely still better than
You
Kellen.
know, I think it's Lil Pump. I
Absolutely.
could be wrong. I think it's Lil Pump. He has a song with Charlie Sheen
Okay.
called Drug Addicts.
That's
Can I-
awesome.
can I say
love
that?
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
The best maple syrup is nothing compared to Aunt Jemima.
There you go.
Damn.
All right, let's
That was
go.
cold.
Let's go back to super chats. You
Eagle
got them there?
flies.
What about what about
Can you scroll
Terrence
it down a tiny bit,
Taylor.
Brett?
Where are we at,
okay,
Corey
so-
Anderson?
Yep, Corey Anderson. She already took a day off for my birthday. BS.
Look, she's taking some time off for her birthday. We will be celebrating Mary's birthday belatedly on Friday.
Exciting.
Yes.
All right. Marcos, thumbs up.
Thank you.
Get my on camera. There we go. Shane H. Wilder, there is a pickle bacon ranch pizza. Bleh. Honestly, that sounds
Ew.
kind of good. Is
Ay,
there something wrong
Sarah,
with me?
God.
Is it,
Keep it to
minus
yourself,
the ranch, pickle bacon. I would try
Pickled bacon. Keep it to yourself.
Gross.
that. I can't pronounce this. BM something Nate Dog.
Yeah, BMF Nate Dogg.
Okay. Can we at least get some Oreo flavored bleach?
Let's disavow on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do two more.
Corey Anderson, for someone as rich as Zuck, why is his wife all ugly?
Oh, come
Look,
on, man.
I mean, money doesn't have anything to do with love, does it?
Don't
just
equate
most.
those two
Ask
things.
Bezos.
Come on.
Like, yeah, like Bezos is going to end up getting taken to the cleaners because he's going to.
He already did. It already happened once.
Yeah, but now he's with the sex bot, Lauren Sanchez. So, yeah. Am I going to get arrested for saying that? Is that-
Someone
Maybe.
someone posted like the top 10 richest women. How like
And
it's
they're
all
all
inheritance.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's all inheritance or
like
like
Jeff Bezos' wife
One,
is
she's
number
one of the
one.
richest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melinda Gates.
Britt
Yeah.
Dasovic, you got done a naughty. Yeah, that you did.
Yep, that's what they'll say. when they
We're
come to
going
arrest
to
me.
take you to court.
Yeah.
You sound like Mickey Mouse.
You should
That's how all British people sound.
should do voices for Seamus.
For shit. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know.
Dude.
Let's do two more.
Okay, two more. All right. Tacty Platty. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well.
Other than all the massive amount of like technical difficulties going on today, yes.
Yeah.
Like that one in the
Insta-
middle of the stream asking me to like request access again. I'm like, really?
Oh man, I
After-
got a text from Kamala.
After everything before, what you
How
said?
dare she text you during
I don't
our
know.
show?
Someone signed me up for like Democrat like
Yeah.
I get, you know,
campaign
So,
texts.
I get them
all
all
of
the
them.
time, and it sends them to somebody named Masood, even though my name is obviously
Masood!
not
Masood, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. I get Anne. Hi, Anne. Have you considered donating to our campaign? No.
No, I have not.
No, I have
I
not.
do get some that say they're from Donald Trump. I'd like to believe that those are actually from him, though.
It's him.
He's just writing them all day.
Yeah.
Group texting.
It's the best.
Dearest Brett.
I would love it if that was like.
I need money.
Yes.
Lots of money.
All right, do one more.
Shane H. Wilder. Kellen, the Ben Affleck meme you wanted is on Twix.
I saw it.
There you go.
Yeah, I retweeted it. Thank you, man.
It's bad.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. All right, I want to talk to everybody about comedies. I think everybody, to some level, enjoys a good Hollywood comedy, or at least the ones that used to come out back in the day before comedy kind of went down the tubes, given the fact that Hollywood is as politically correct these days as they are. But of course, Vince Vaughn recently was on Hot Ones and talked about how nobody in Hollywood is willing to risk their jobs by making comedies anymore, by making good comedies anymore. But he's kind of further elaborated on this, and I enjoyed what he said here. He said, I don't know anyone who's like, I really love someone making a character be as polite and evolved as possible. He's talking about those around. He says, if anything, it's like, what can I get away with? And what I got to thinking about is that in general, the only type of comedy now that really, really works is when you mix it with another genre. Right? So dramatic comedy works to an extent, but the straight up comedy doesn't seem to do the numbers that it used to. And even as the movie that was coming out this weekend, the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni movie that was coming out, which was advertised as like a romantic comedy and ended up being more of a dramatic film based on a Colleen Hoover book. What people realize is that they had to sell you one movie just to give you another because it doesn't work. And I don't really know any way in which Hollywood doing comedy right now is allowed to actually proceed unless they stop taking themselves so seriously.
Comedies are hard because it's always of the times, right?
Yeah.
So Superbad, when it came out, that was like one of the most famous movies, cult classic, loved it. I watched it 100 times. I went back and rewatched it recently, and it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
It had been long enough to where I wasn't expecting the jokes, but it just wasn't funny
Napoleon
anymore.
Dynamite was the same way for me.
It's hard to make, like
That
a
one holds
genuinely
up.
good
That
comment.
to me, like when I rewatched it, I was like, I have like this weird like phantom laughter because I remember laughing originally, but
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
doesn't work. It's like I was in a different place at that time. Now, obviously, there are plenty of comedies that still hold up today. Zoolander, the original, in my opinion, still holds
gotta
up
rewatch
today.
that.
Airplane.
Just the other day, Tropic Thunder had its 16th anniversary
Yeah. Oh, man.
for coming out. And
16.
there was like this thread going around. It's like, why was Robert Downey Jr. allowed to get away with this in that film?
Did you watch Old School?
Yeah.
That movie was great.
Yep.
What about Tires? That's like, it's not a movie, but Shane Gillis, Tires
I
on
didn't see
Netflix. Oh, it's like a 6-episode comedy series.
Okay.
Funniest thing I've seen in a very, very
He's
long
one of the
time.
few funny comedians right now.
Yeah,
Because he's a
that-
bro.
Yeah, he's
'Cause he's a
unapologetic.
bro, dude.
Exactly.
The idea here is they want the concept of responsible comedy, but being responsible is inherently not funny.
True.
It's not. It's like the other thing is like they want to pass judgment on characters. It's kind of the same way they talk about Homelander. Like they got mad when they realized that people liked Homelander because you're not supposed to like him.
Yeah.
If you're going to actually create great art, you have to just create it and let the people take it as they do.
Yeah.
And
Right?
if the actor does such a good job that he's insufferable, but people love him, like that's just
Like, yeah,
props
why is
to the acting.
Why is it okay to enjoy the movie Joker when that's a villain, but you can't enjoy Homelander, right? Like they're villains. Sometimes it's fun to watch the villain.
Nothing that's made to be socially conscious actually has any long-term impact because social values change, especially concepts like social justice where every couple of years you get a new current thing that you're supposed to care about. So you get all of these movies that get made that are of the current year, and a couple of years go by and you're like, why was that made? I have no idea why anyone would want to watch this. Right?
Right. That's like most movies, honestly. And then it's the timeless ones that hold true. Who knows why or why not? The other day, I like rewatched Karate Kid, and I was like, dude, it's still
That still holds up.
It's still good and it's inspiring. And I think that that's something that can kind of surpass cultures.
Well, you need to make the art timeless too. Like during COVID, how all the shows on TV had people wearing
Oh,
masks.
that was so. I immediately was
hated that.
upset when they did it.
Yeah.
The best thing you could do is not acknowledge it.
Exactly, exactly. And now every time you see an episode like that, all you think about is COVID. You know?
When I was in DC still, all the advertisements, all of them were people wearing masks. Oh my God.
I forget what.
It was a freak show.
Where was it? Somewhere just banned. I think somewhere in New York just banned wearing masks. 'Cause-
Too much crime.
yeah.
Yeah. To the news cycle and current events. Meaning, do you remember the clip of the guy and the girl? Like they're both wearing masks, and she takes off her mask and she's like missing a tooth.
I never.
Do you
saw
remember that?
but that's
What's that again?
Like the guy and the girl are wearing masks, and they're like, "I think I'm falling in love," and then she takes off her mask and she's missing a tooth.
What?
But the point is, it's COVID specific humor. Right? Because
Okay.
everyone is wearing masks at the time. So the issue is if you're an internet comedian and your work is tied to the news cycle, that's fine. Movies have to be made at a higher budget with a more timeless feel.
Yeah, Butterfaces were like big up during the pandemic. They were killing it.
How to smile with your eyes. You remember those like,
Oh my
articles
God,
and stuff?
yeah.
I was thinking of like 10 Things I Hate About You and the trope of Kat being like the typical teenage feminist and her dad being the overly concerned father who's constantly worried about her having sex. And I'm thinking like comedies used to have to acknowledge universal truths or at least something that spoke to the average person's lived experience in some way, meaning that
Right.
most people, not everyone, but most people grow up. Most people have a parent that's concerned about what they're going to do when they leave the house. All of these things are universal. And even if the movie's 20 years old, you still remember being that age and what was going on at that time.
Right.
Yeah. Movies that can zoom out of what's going on currently and what's okay to like and what's not okay to like and can actually connect to things that are timeless that everyone can relate to. Those are the ones that
Like,
always withstand the test of time.
Ace Ventura is still funny to this day because it's Jim Carrey in his prime, right? So I saw somebody super chat, Liar Liar is still a great comedy. Everything, Jim Carrey was like the Bulls in the 90s at that time period. It was nothing but hits that whole time period. But if you go back and you rewatch those Jim Carrey movies, The Mask is another great example of a movie that doesn't have a lot of anything that feels unique to the time.
But the
it's
thing
just
about
good comedy.
the thing about Jim Carrey is that he's a lot of physical humor,
Yes.
whereas a guy like Vince Vaughn, it's like his bravado, and
He's like really
His
tall.
delivery.
yeah, his delivery. However, when your comedy relies on delivery, the issue is it requires a certain level of intellect, and I mean this sincerely, from the audience to be like, oh, he doesn't mean this, even though that's what he literally said. What he actually means is this, and the juxtaposition of the two is where the humor lies.
Right.
And I think as people get dumber and remain dumber, that's why we have a humorless society.
It's like getting left out of an inside joke. You're like, you're just standing there. You're like,
Yeah.
what? I don't.
They're literally
what?
too
What?
stupid to get the joke.
Also, like
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, reference like especially like historical jokes. People are so dumb nowadays. Like you make a historical reference in a joke.
does that happen?
Who makes historical jokes?
Yeah.
No, but like no, there's definitely a lot
That's
of
an
them.
1868, if you know what I mean.
Those people are too busy getting shoved into lockers.
Yeah, as they should.
Yeah. Like who's made like? Can you
Kellen
give me an example?
nervously laughs. Oh, yeah.
None that are appropriate for YouTube.
None.
Not
Can you
off the top of
censor
my
the
head.
joke?
No.
I can't.
Wait,
think
a
of
historical
I'll
joke?
tell you guys
Okay.
off air.
Wow, these are about to be wild.
Yeah, I don't have a historical.
They're
I'm excited.
offensive, but also if someone doesn't get it, it's not funny.
Comedy,
Right, if you don't think it's funny, you're stupid.
Yeah, that's what I start telling people.
comedy
Then they
used
laugh
to
at my
require
jokes.
you to share universal truths. Now everything is sectored off into race, gender, sexuality, and then the comedy is like they made Bros, which is made for a very small market of people because the average person isn't going to find the same things funny. Because if you're gay and you find some type of funny, humor funny because it's part of your experience as somebody who's gay in the year 2023 or 2024, that might be funny to you, but it's not going to speak to the average everyday person. It used to be, like I said earlier, they make a movie about a girl who's falls in love with the bad boy at school and her dad's constantly afraid of her having sex. Most girls who grow up and go through puberty understand this type of trope. Even if it's not necessarily their story, it's adjacent to their lived experience.
Yeah.
So it
Which,
makes
by the
sense.
way, the dad's right.
He is. Absolutely. I love that
Can we
guy.
talk about that? Like, she shouldn't be sleeping with a guy. He's a freaking loser.
Hey, you leave. Heath Ledger in that movie was fantastic.
Oh.
You know, we were talking about this a little bit, Brett, when we were going over this article before the show. I'm curious because Adam Sandler was just on Joe Rogan, and I'm gonna definitely watch that episode when I have some time. But I'm curious if they end up touching base on any of this stuff that this article's talking about.
I mean, he's
like,
still making-
Seinfeld has come out recently and
You said Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler was on Joe Rogan. Yeah.
Okay. He came to mind when we were talking about this because I feel like he completely leaned into like the polite humor
Who? Seinfeld?
genre. No, Adam Sandler.
No,
All
he just
the
got
comedies
old.
that have come out recently, like Grown Ups 1, Grown Ups 2. I mean, it's like they're like poopy
Well, it's because
jokes,
he
but
got
they're
like
very
a gazillion.
PC.
He got like a $gazillion deal from Netflix
But
to just pump out.
It doesn't
movies.
quite work. Like, if I don't know how old is he, like 50 something now?
He's gotta
Gotta
be.
It
Yeah.
doesn't really, like, the comedy that made him famous in the 90s and early 2000s, you
man.
can't really do that anymore
Happy
at
Gilmore?
that age.
Yep.
But there's a Happy Gilmore 2 coming out, so we'll
Really?
see.
Yeah. From
Oh, wow.
From
What?
Netflix.
I don't care, dude. I'm so ready.
There was a great meme.
Dude,
that
Happy
says-
Gilmore was laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
It was no Carl Weathers.
Golf
though.
is timeless, and that's why it'll always be funny. Because golf has it's been
Well,
played the same
and
for 200, 300 years.
Shooter McGavin is a great foil, no matter what.
Do you follow him on
generation.
Twitter?
Yes, I do. He's fantastic. Yes, you gotta go. He's
Timeless,
his
truly.
job is to just talk shit. That's all he does. He just
So
talks shit on
good.
Twitter all day.
I know.
Guy's awesome.
No way.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it the actor or is it like
I don't
someone
think it's
No,
the
it's
actor.
him.
It's just
Is it the actual
I'm
actor?
pretty sure it's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Sick.
Somebody in the chat fact check. Is the Shooter McGavin
fact check
Twitter
that.
account actually? There was also a meme that was going around. It said like Sydney Sweeney has been cast as like big-breasted ball girl number 4 in Happy Gilmore.
Yes!
And obviously that wasn't true, but it was.
They just asked her as some. It's a biopic that's coming out.
Oh no, they were fan casting her as Britney Spears.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they
Oh,
want her
wait.
to play
Okay.
Britney Spears, and they're like their eyes aren't the same
It's
Yeah.
shape.
yeah, it's completely different style too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know.
They look completely different, yeah.
I just think we just live in a society now that takes itself too seriously, and they care too much about what is said online. What works in the theater and what works online are two vastly different things because people on the internet are just designed to go looking for flaws. So if you make a movie and you just let it be, like, there's a reason why Tropic Thunder is universally loved, even though it has, you know, Robert Downey Jr. in blackface. It's because he never apologized, and people respected the fact that he never apologized, and they knew that he did not do that with malice.
He was playing a person playing a person.
Exactly. He was the dude disguised as another dude, right? But the point is that what they would have to do is, like, for specific genres, like, if you're going to make an offensive comedy, just do it, and then don't read any of the comments. Just be brave.
Power through it.
Be brave. Don't read any of the comments.
And if you get offended at something, you know, those aren't your fans anyway, right? So,
I just want to know where
them?
this idea came from that people think they can control other people so much.
I mean, women have existed throughout history. You know what I mean?
Women controlling the means of social discourse through shaming on the internet.
You're saying that's
I mean, like, that's why it works, right? Because women,
because it actually works
women
now. Okay,
women traditionally policed their friend groups and others through social ostracization and shaming.
Yeah,
right?
have you ever been shunned, Sarah?
That's what the internet is as a whole, right? They control you through shame. It's funny because we talk on the show a lot. Like, Mary talks about how we need to bring back shaming. And I was like, there's lots of shaming these days. It's just not the direction people want it to be.
We gotta bring back shaming the lames.
No.
The losers.
And it's like with the internet, you know, once you post it, it's there forever. So it's like if you make an off-color joke and it just doesn't land, right? People are gonna give you some crap for it, but then it's gone in the wind. But now on the internet, your joke is there forever. The replies are there forever.
Yeah, and it defines that person.
And
honestly,
if you think about it, like when you say something crazy or off color, most of the time you don't remember it later,
right?
Or even what people said to you in that moment.
Right.
Now you have it through transcript, so it's like, and it immediately brings back what was said in that moment.
Honestly, we don't need shame back in a way because we're constantly shaming people one side or another. I think what we truly need back is kind of this internal measure that we used to have of, like, he's kidding, it's not that serious.
Yeah, well, nothing is taken that way.
We need to restore the value system.
Everything is completely hyperbolic. Like,
people are too sensitive too.
Yep.
They're gonna take away my rights. It's like, no, we're not. Like, stop it.
I like a couple people have it as their Twitter bios, and I really do identify with this. Like, everything I say is a joke unless you disagree, unless you agree with me, then I'm serious, right? Literally, I'm always kidding. Unless you think I'm right, then, you know, that's true. There's a $20 super chat here from Will Egger. Says, idiocracy is what we are living in. There are no time machines to get the 90s, man. To get the 90s man back to save the world. Yes, that is true. And I do, like, I think sometimes people have... I see people argue back and forth as to whether the 90s was as great as it was. And I do think it was, but I don't think you can ever get back to that because prior to widespread internet usage, you're just never going to get back to that.
I don't know. I feel like you just gotta...
Everyone would have to disconnect from the internet.
I long for the past as well, but, like, at some point you just gotta let go.
Like, let's all just agree to get off the internet.
It's
How about
leaving
that?
a bad...
Honestly, yes. Honestly, yes.
I'll die.
Yes,
That's why people are, like, abandoning Instagram. Like, it's gone so crazy that it left a bad taste in people's mouth, and they don't want anything. Yeah, people are deleting their Instagram accounts. Like, it's just a rejection of social media that we're starting to see now.
Well, like, here's the thing. You see people make videos all the time on YouTube. They're like, I left social media for a year. I'm going to give you the cliff notes. Nobody ever says it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, not one person has ever been like, look, I took a year off social media and my gosh, my life is worse. No.
And that's what's so dangerous about Twitter is because they lure you in with, like, it's the news. And like, it's social media.
There's like, we go back and forth about this all the time. So for about 2 weeks, I deleted it off my phone just so that I only had it at work, but I have to do my job. I have to have it. Like, the whole time I was out of town.
Tell me about it.
The whole time I was out of town, I was sending Kellen and myself links about stuff that we could possibly cover. I have to do that for work. But I'm not happy when I'm on the app. And I'm not even reading anything that's important. That's the problem. As I say all the time, like, I'll read these threads. I don't remember any of it later. I just know that.
I hate that trend now.
You know that phrase, like, people won't remember what you said. They'll only remember how they made you feel. Yeah. That's the truth. I'll read a thread that pisses me off and not remember anything about it.
Made you feel?
It
Brett?
just makes me annoyed. So
Yeah.
look, if you want to
I
make
know.
great comedies, you have to get away from. You have to just be brave. Let the filmmakers make the movie that they want to make. First of all, hire good producers and good executives that know a good script when they see one. Hire good people, and then trust them to make a good product and not kill projects just because it seems a little bit edgy.
Also, I take the Mike Cernovich approach to the internet to the absolute extreme. So his thing is like, if you mildly annoy him, he blocks you. And I don't usually block. I mute so that you continue to scream in the void, and I'll never hear you. So I do that, and any and every topic that I don't like, I was like, don't show me this, don't show me this, don't show me this.
Yeah.
But that sucks because for some reason in every platform that's not as effective, like you truly have to do it like 100 times. Like I truly think I've told YouTube, don't show me Lex Friedman 100 times.
And
You're
YouTube's
gonna
like,
get Lex
Friedman.
He blocked me, and my life's all the better.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. All right, let's finish these super chats, guys. Yeah, let's go. You got the where
All
we
right.
are there?
Yep. All right. Tacti Platty. Brett, what about Oblivion with Tom Cruise?
That's a good one.
I don't even remember it. It was that
Isn't
long
that?
ago.
I'm pretty sure that's the one where he keeps waking up. It's like on a
Oh,
loop.
okay.
That one is
I
surprisingly
think
good.
that's Oblivion.
I'll tell you what.
If it's
So
that
I
one.
rewatched Jack Reacher this weekend. I loved
Ooh.
it. It was a lot of fun. I love it because I was talking to someone on Twitter. You really only know it's of the age because it's when they were trying to make Jai Courtney a thing, and nobody actually likes Jai Courtney. But he's actually good in the movie because he's a bad guy. He's just not good at playing good guys. But in general, it's a no-nonsense film, and it's got this great.
Oh, that's not Oblivion. Chat says that's Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes. Well, which was
How
was
dare
like
you.
Live, Die,
You said
Repeat.
who?
It was
Jai
originally
Courtney?
called Jai Courtney. He played Captain Boomerang in
gonna
the
look him
Suicide Squad.
Okay.
But Edge of Tomorrow was originally titled Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat.
All right. Let's see. Where are we?
Oh, where did we leave off? here?
Tommy Cruise.
Scrolling like crazy.
Yep.
Scrolling.
I will say honestly, a lot of other than Mission Impossible, a lot of Tom Cruise's movies are kind of forgettable.
Whoa.
Wow, that's a bold
Yikes.
statement.
I like.
Honestly,
Speaking
I
of-
watch a lot of them.
Speaking of movies
Risky
that I
Business
rewatch,
is good.
Actually, I'm like, can I name another?
I rewatched
Alright.
Collateral very, very recently. I loved Maverick is one of the few movies of the last 3 years.
Vanilla Sky. That one's kind of
I
a
think
cult
I
classic.
watched that for the first time here.
Yeah?
Like when I
No?
first
Too weird?
came out here to work, and all I could think about was how it exists in this like weird period of time where technology was in this in between phase.
Oh, Top
where
Gun, that's true.
He's got like the TV that comes up, and the TV looks like you could just kill someone with it because it's like this thick.
They made me watch that in school.
Did they?
Vanilla Sky.
For what?
Interesting.
I don't know.
Have you guys seen Long Legs yet?
No.
No.
Well, it's the new horror movie.
I hate horror.
It's about spiders.
No, I think it's a mystery, like kind of thriller, like crime thriller, but it's a horror
Okay.
movie. It's got Nicolas Cage though.
Oh, Nick Cage.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'll
wanna see
check it
that.
out for Nick Cage.
Do people
All right.
do people like Nick Cage? I feel
Oh,
like
yes.
people
Yes.
mock him a lot.
It started
Both.
that way, but now it's like he's embraced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Oh.
won over the hearts of millions.
For just taking it.
I guess so.
Well,
yeah.
he had to do a bunch of movies for a lot of years that sucked because he had tax debt. So he made a
Don't
bunch
we
of
all?
yeah. Like so, you
I
know,
forgot about
that.
that.
makes me like him already.
He's
I mean,
on the list.
National Treasure.
No, National Treasure holds up unbelievably
Really?
well.
I don't remember that
Oddly
movie
enough,
at all.
Same director of photography as Jack Reacher. I just
Interesting.
happened to catch that over the weekend
Ben Stiller.
because it was Caleb Deschanel, who's Emily Deschanel and Zoe Deschanel's dad.
Okay.
Your random fact for the week.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Brett's always just blowing my mind with these random facts.
Fun fact, guys.
All right, Brian Bledsoe watched Armageddon over 20 times in theaters. In the theater.
That's a lot. I was telling
That is a lot.
I was telling Olivia over the weekend about if you listen to the audio commentary from Armageddon, and you hear Ben Affleck do this bit where he says, I asked Michael, he's talking about Michael Bay. It's like, I asked Michael why it would be easier to train oil drillers to be astronauts rather than have astronauts become oil drillers. He told me to shut the fuck up.
Dude, I've only seen.
That's the director's job. If he doesn't like what you have to say, shut the fuck up.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I like
By the way, I've only seen one director's commentary to a movie, and it was for Garden State because I watched it. I really enjoyed it, And Zach Braff is such a douche throughout all the commentary. I was like, it's ruining the movie for me. I can't listen to this.
It's the whole I tell everyone all the time.
Like, I'm an artist.
The beauty of physical media back in television, 22 episode television days, is that you get 5 or 6 episodes a year that would get, a season that would get audio commentaries. I would pay extra money for a streaming service that had all of the audio commentaries from the movies and television shows that I like. I'd pay extra for that, just so I don't have
Movie
to.
nerd.
Yeah.
When you're a senior, we'll do Pop Culture Crisis review. It's
Yeah. Yep.
Here's where we're talking about this crazy actor that went to a farm and got a bunch of kids. And what's the name of that guy? This Flash?
Oh, the actor?
Yeah.
Ezra Miller?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy was crazy.
Oh yeah. Okay. Shane H. Wilder. Voices let me know Ryan would be a good DP.
They let you know that Ryan would be a good. I'm assuming Deadpool, because I think we were talking about Deadpool at that time. Unless he means director of photography. But I don't think that's what he means.
All right. From Bompchus. The only musical version of something I don't turn off immediately is the musical episode of Scrubs.
Look,
That show ruled.
when shows do that.
when
Love
it
that
was
show,
television, like when it's a television show, like there's a point you get in season 5 and 6 where they are now just messing with you because they're bored.
Yeah.
And that's usually why shows are only good up through the first 5 or 6 seasons.
Or like Community did that with like the claymation, and it wasn't claymation, or maybe it was, but I'm
the
like,
Christmas?
I skip it. Yeah, that Christmas episode, I skip it every time. I'm like, because it's just so different, and I'm like, I get what you're doing to be creative and cute, but I'm like, no, like,
Feels like a
takes me
space
completely
filler
out.
I love that show
sometimes.
too.
It's a
Community.
great show. Yeah,
I remember
Until
even Stevens
Donald
did it.
Glover left. Then it was oof.
I think they're doing the movie. It's filming right now.
Somebody in the chat mentioned a movie with Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal. That was The Unbearable
I
Weight
need
of
to
Massive
see that.
Talent.
I need, and that's where the meme is from, with Pedro Pascal
Yeah.
smiling.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I need to see that movie.
All right. We already did that one. From Red Snow. Chicken wing, hot dog and bologna. Chicken and macaroni, chilling with the homies. Wow,
Well, thank
profound.
you.
Thank you.
You know what's good? Getting mac and cheese and putting it on your hot dog.
That sounds, that's like a chili cheese dog.
Yeah.
Put some
Basically,
beans
yeah.
on there. Was it you who just told me there was like mac and cheese flavored ice cream?
Yeah, they had that
That
here.
They have
we
hot
had here at some
Cheetos mac
point.
and cheese now.
Whoa.
That sounds kind of delicious.
Yeah, they do. And regular
Eat that
Cheetos
for
mac and
me.
cheese.
I'll,
Yeah.
Again,
I'll
there
live
it is, like,
vicariously
more-
through your
Eat that
stomach.
for me.
No, we need to get like a little like tabletop like
gonna watch
hot
him eat,
plate.
like-
And we need to cook
Oh, yeah.
On the show.
on the show and
the
do
show.
or like these crazy snacks that we always talk about. We got to do like taste tests, like first reactions.
I don't know. We did a Taco Bell episode and it got slimy.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you need like that's why you need to do like the Oreos, right? Where
hate
we
that
each just
word.
get one cookie.
It was like the
You know?
intro was like Dane. It was like, hello everyone. I'm
And boom, that's like a easy 1 minute
the
short
word-
for you.
The word slimy to me is almost like the word moist.
What
where
about
it just-
damp?
Such
I can't
propaganda.
take
What's
it.
wrong
There's
with
nothing
moist?
wrong with
I know.
moist.
Oh, okay.
That's literally
Girls-
What's
that's
wrong
the
with
power
moist?
of that's the power of memetics. It got memed into existence. Nobody
Yep,
cared,
I
and then
agree.
one day
It's true.
everybody cared.
It's true.
Moist?
I think it was How I
it's
Met Your
true.
Mother. where it
Brownies are
started.
moist. You don't like brownies?
I mean, I don't mind the word moist.
What about damp?
It's just a
However,
However, slimy.
The word nourish does suck. I don't care what it is.
Nourish?
Because it's always about to be said by some
Absolutely.
crunchy douche. He's going to tell you to eat healthier, and I just want to tell him, shut
Dude,
the fuck up.
nourish and discourse. I'm telling you, they sent me through
Nourish
the
your
roof.
body with yummy foods. How about you shut the fuck up?
Shut the fuck up, for real. Nourish. Who nourishes? I gorge.
No, there was like a
so
store,
funny.
like there's like a restaurant, like
It's funny because I was in the yoga world for so long, and that's all I heard was
What?
nourish. Everything was
Ew.
about
The worst-
nourishing.
Oh, I
So like
thought you
the
were gonna
fact
say-
that you hate that word so much cracks me up.
Why can't hot women just enjoy being hot? Like, I don't get it. It's like, we're nourishing our bodies. Shut up. Just wear your
That's why
yoga
they're
pants.
hot.
Have you ever smelled a yoga studio after a session?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I lived in D.C. I've
Yeah.
done unspeakable things.
Yeah. Gross.
All right.
Nourish.
I should look, and I only started hating it because it's inevitably it's on Twitter or it's some infographic on Instagram, and it's always somebody's gonna be like, eat healthier, microplastics, man, shut the fuck up.
Amen, brother.
On that note,
The rumbling.
from V Wit, they need to make
Oh,
a
wait.
Dino Riders movie.
Victor White says, while listening to Bob Dylan. Yes, this is your daily reminder that Bob Dylan sucks.
Yeah,
I like Bob
dude.
Dylan, the man
It's the
in
same
me.
person, for sure.
Yeah.
All these things. And soccer. The people say it's football.
Nearly.
They say nourish too.
Let's just vent about all the things that have
Continue,
been
I'm down.
driving Dane crazy.
V-Wit.
Never mind.
All right.
I'm
The
full of hate.
Rumbling. Dane, Assassin's Creed Shadow shoots down your idea about politics not being in video games.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Dane was talking more
No,
about
I mean-
the culture.
He
around-
meant generally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, some sure, but like those games
There's-
where like it's like competitive and
Yeah, Dane was
there's
talking
tools,
about the,
no story.
You were talking about the competitive aspect
Yeah.
of it. They're talking more like, look, the hot women characters are now suddenly not hot, and there's identity politics in the games. Obviously true.
All right. I read that one. I'll read it again. View it. They need to make a Dino Riders movie. Tacti Platty. Kellen, don't you dare badmouth Blue or battle LA.
Okay.
Battle for Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know.
Sounded like a threat.
I don't know. I don't need to name the dinosaurs. I'm good without that. It can just be a velociraptor.
Well, I named him.
They should do a Jurassic Park Godzilla crossover.
I've never seen Jurassic Park, and everyone tells me it's like a cinematic masterpiece.
The original Jurassic Park. I mean, if for no other reason than it's a masterpiece in traditional filmmaking.
The score
Yeah.
is really good
And,
too.
yeah.
John Williams.
Yep. All right.
All right. Tacti Platty says, time to sue Dane for cyberbullying me, the
Yep.
boomer.
I'm gonna sue you.
I'm way ahead of you. I've
You're
actually already
freaking annoying stalker guy.
I already started a petition
if
online.
anyone ever sues you, just sue him back. You're going to start a petition, Kellen?
I already did.
For what?
Wow.
To condemn you for your speech.
Me?
For your mean words.
Guys, hit the like button. There's
Hit-
883
like button,
of you
guys.
watching and just 346 of you. I refuse to believe that so many of you like the word moist and nourished so much that you wouldn't hit the like button on this video.
That's crazy.
Yeah, make that like button.
You tolerate
Make it
damp.
moist.
Make it moist.
All right, from Colby Hansen. Buying physical media doesn't always work. My fave pool movie is Pool Hall Junkies, and it won't work because of regional code.
You can buy DVD players that are like open source though, right? Like that play different regions.
You might be right. I actually forgot that was a thing. I remember like being a kid in the early 2000s, my family and I went to New York City, and I like convinced my mom to buy these DVDs off of the street.
Nah.
And she kept telling me, she's like, they're counterfeit, they're not going to work. And I took them home, and I didn't realize they were all from like China,
Yeah.
from a different country.
China.
And at the time, like it's like a copyright infringement for some reason, or there's some kind of law that doesn't allow you to buy movies from other countries.
President-elect Pressure 609 says no Mary, no like. Do it anyways. Do it anyways.
She would like that.
She would.
Yeah,
I
she
think
literally
Mary,
It's her
like
birthday,
that.
Mary,
bigot.
it's her birthday. How are you not going to like
Wow.
this on her birthday?
On her birthday.
Look at
guys.
this guy.
She's going to come back to an episode with less likes, and she's going to be appalled. Why would you do that to her?
What a clown. Thank you for the money, though.
DCNC Danio Kechimba. Bretto pulled a cringe the other week, but I reckon you could have contributed some expertise on the topic. Welcome back.
I don't know what that's.
I like how they're just throwing you under the bus.
I don't know what cringe they're talking about.
You lost count, huh?
Gordon Shumway. The saying is, East Coast people are not nice but kind. West Coast people are nice but not kind.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the idea that
thinking
one
about
is
the other way around.
very, very, short with you, but to your face, but they're very, very nice people. The other one is they're very, very nice to your face, but they're very mean people
I mean,
behind
there's
your
mean
back.
people over here.
Yeah, they'll help you
Yeah, I don't
change
know if that's
your
so
tire,
black
but
and white.
I'm one of them.
they'll call you an idiot.
But the people on the West Coast just drive right by you and not help you change your tire.
Yep.
I wouldn't do
They'll
it.
be like, hey, I know that person.
I've seen too many. I've seen too many movies.
That's what the cartel does.
Yeah,
Boom, you're gone.
Too Hispanic for that.
From John Quixote. Big Wolf on Campus was Canada's attempt at Buffy. It's free to watch on YouTube if you search it up. 3 seasons. High school jock bitten by a werewolf uses powers to fight monster of the week.
I tried to watch this
Good.
show. I tried to watch this show called Blood Ties
my
with
God.
Christina Cox, and it's the worst. It's so funny because I made it 2 episodes in, and it became a meme where it was so bad. I was like, "Yeah, this is awesome," and even I couldn't make it past 2 episodes. Apparently, it was like a Hallmark show about a vampire, and the dude was just—it was just so bad. I loved it.
All right, V-Wit. I just wanted to hear Sara read my super chat in her best Roz voice.
Okay.
Who's Roz?
Unless they're talking about Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, depending on your pronunciation.
Okay. Greg Duvier.
Liar, liar.
Liar Liar is still a great comedy.
Unless Layer Layer is like a horror movie that takes place down in a layer somewhere.
It's a layer within
Yeah.
a layer.
Nate, that was the best take you've ever had, Dane.
I don't know what that was
What?
actually in regards to.
I don't know. I have tons of them.
I just got a chat summary. It says viewers are discussing the latest episode of Moist Critical's podcast.
Well, that makes sense.
All right, the manic mustache. Like many billionaires before me, I hope to one day be able to accumulate enough wealth so my wife is one of the richest women in the world too. Hopefully, she'll let me keep the Corvette in the divorce.
I like these. There was like this Instagram
That's all we can hope
trend
for.
that was going around in comedy circles where it's like a dude. He's on a balcony working on a computer. He's like upping my financial game so my wife can run a business that loses $50,000 a month.
All right, Shane H. Wilder. Me, myself, and Irene couldn't be made. Hey, may have advanced delusionary schizophrenia with involuntary narcissistic rage, but he is a very gentle person.
You can't really tell
Touche.
a lot of stories like that these days.
Yeah.
Also, he had the 3 black kids.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Hey, daddy. He like gives them all this.
Okay, we're down at VWIT again.
All right, we're back. Brett's just scrolling like crazy. All right, VWIT, thank you. Make shaming great again. Miska 2024.
Make shaming great again 2024. Yeah. I
I shall
know.
try.
I mean, I think it's not even about shaming. I think it's like if you're making a comedy, just don't read anything. Just make it and then let it be. It's not like it makes more money or less money that way when you get involved with it. Just make it, and if it financially bombs, then you tried. Mm-hmm. It's not like people are going to remember anyways. People are on to the next outrage 2 seconds later anyways.
Right.
Disregard activists forever again.
Yes. Literally, there is nothing worse than... the only thing worse than being an activist might be being Bob Dylan.
He's probably an activist, that loser.
He is. He made the song about Reuben Carter. Reuben Hurricane Carter.
I'm so based. I don't even know what that means.
It's actually it's the funny. There's a movie called The Hurricane about Reuben Carter.
I'm
starring
sure
Denzel
Kellen has a
Washington.
historical joke about it.
Kellen probably does have a historical joke about it.
Okay,
Well.
you guys.
You do?
Kellen's like Hitler, am I right?
It's
Shane
funny
H.
'cause- sorry.
Shane H. Wilder. You scroll down a bit. It said point. Can you scroll up a little bit? There it is. Point on the doll where X hurt you, Brett.
X didn't hurt me.
X has hurt
X
the
hurt
world.
the person, the boxer.
The boxer.
The boxer.
All right, Shane H. Wilder. Long Legs was beautifully filmed and edited, but the plot is horrible. Well, it's a horror movie. Also, you only get Nick Cage for 50.
I read that earlier. It's disappointing.
I'm not seeing it.
It's called clickbait then.
Yeah.
They have his name real big on the movie poster.
What they're probably going to do with Selena Gomez in the Wizards of Waverly Place
Probably.
reboot. VWIT, if you can find it, watch Inc., one of my fave indies.
Okay.
Okay.
Shane H. Wilder, I probably won't watch live tomorrow as it's a holy day of obligation and Mass is at the same time as PCC. I'll see y'all Friday for the return of Mary.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Thank you.
Okay.
If it must be.
The DJ Foy. Hey Brett, if you want a fun 90s TV show, Roar is a Xena-style TV show from 97 with Ledger playing a young Irishman fighting a Roman invasion led by a 400-year-old Roman cursed by God. 13 episodes in total.
There's so
I've
much
never
good
heard
stuff
of
out
it.
there that's only 13 episodes long. So many shows that never got multiple seasons. There was this show in Canada called Endgame, which of course you can't even find now because of Avengers Endgame, about an agoraphobic chess champion who lives in a hotel and solves crimes. People come to him and are like, I have a problem. And he's like, I can help you, but I can't leave this hotel.
Sick. What a premise.
I know. It's great. And it's great because it's like if you're poor and you're working on a budget, you don't really have to leave the hotel that much. You just build the couple of sets and you just stay there.
All right, Pat the Plumber, are we keeping these fools here till 6 or what?
No, we're about done. Unless somebody wants to get me that third crisis party.
Greg Duvier. I don't know if I'm
Duvier.
saying Duvier. Brett, beef is very nourishing.
Stop it. Stop it.
VWIT, toxins is my hated word. It means nothing.
It's like toxic. I hate the word toxic when people use it to describe
Only
their
toxic
relationship.
people say that.
I like that we're sharing the things we hate.
Yep.
I feel seen.
the hate fest. Dacty Platty, Brett, Star Trek is nourishing. Brett, play STFU. Oh, Brett, Platty, STFU.
He responded for me. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you for doing that.
Potatoes for Seamus. In case Brett didn't mention it, hit the like button.
Yes. Do it.
Thank
Do it
you,
or you like the
potato.
word
Do it now.
nourish.
Gordon Shumway, is there anything that is moist and slimy that is also nourishing? I bet Bob Dylan
He
knows.
probably does. And he'd probably sing a really boring song about it where he doesn't actually sing at all. He just kind of talks in a weird droning on warbly voice.
Escargot. That fits that description.
Thank you for the actual answer, Kellen.
love
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to ask Bob Dylan. Kellen had the answer the whole time.
All right, next. Can you scroll a tiny bit?
No.
VWit, hostage party. We missed you and won't let you go.
Well, we appreciate that here, and it is good to be back, despite all the technical difficulties today.
What are you pointing
Why are you looking at? Yeah, you look at both of us, dude.
I looked around. Somebody's got a guilty conscience. What did you do?
I did nothing.
Oh.
Kellen was like, I don't want to do the show today. I'll just break everything so nothing works. Little did he know. Came in early.
Yeah.
Aha.
VWit.
Yeah.
Oh, just read that one. DCNC.
Oh, where'd it go?
How many of Mary's cringes have you ever pulled from the live recording, Brett?
What do you mean? I don't know what the. I don't understand.
Like, how many has he had to take down before posting
Oh,
to YouTube?
What?
I've only had to pull the one with the dildos.
Oh, that was last week.
Yeah.
That was me.
I cut that. Like everyone thought.
I'm honored.
So everyone thought that I was just so like that. I was just like I'd had my wits end. This was the end of it. Like Brett just finally is just done. No, I'm like I don't know what the terms of service are on allowing dildos on screen. So I'm like I'm cutting it out just to be safe.
Good for you.
Fair?
Yes.
Fair.
I broke terms of service once.
Yes, he did. I cut that out too.
Need a bleep button.
Yeah.
All right. Potatoes for Seamus. Dane saying Esta Selena would be lit.
Esta Selena? What?
There, he just said it. Was
Okay.
it lit?
That was
or was
lit.
it moist? I have no idea.
That's
Nate.
flickering. Not quite lit.
Stupid audience or Happy Gilmore? You can pick, Dane. Stupid audiences or Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore. What? I mean, of having a stupid audience or watching Happy Gilmore? I love
Is
Happy
that like
Gilmore.
referencing how you were saying like humor goes over people's heads?
Oh, I think he means
Right.
because Happy Gilmore's physical humor. I mean,
Oh look, I've been.
That's fine.
We went mini golfing twice in the last like week, and it makes you. It makes Happy Gilmore play in your head.
Get in your hole.
You want to go in your hole?
dude, that movie's incredible.
You're home.
Just tap a root.
Tap tap. That's literally what I was saying. I was like, tap it in.
What's
Tap it in.
what is the old guy's name that gets his arm eaten by a crocodile?
Bob Barker?
No,
No.
no. In
Carl
the chat,
Weathers.
if you know.
Carl Weathers' character?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's the other thing. Carl Weathers is passed on, so there will be no.
Oh, man.
Sad.
Yeah.
They'll probably do some kind of
Deep cut.
tribute.
Sad.
Tap it in.
No, I
Tap
can't.
tap tap.
All right. Potatoes for Seamus. Moist, you say. Kellen, well, how moist?
Drenched.
Ugh. 3 more. We are almost at the end here.
All right. High voltage 75. Cowabunga. Haha. I made a funny. Ha ha ha.
I made another
Okay,
funny. He
Bart.
says that at the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. At the end of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, he goes, Splinter goes, haha, I made a funny.
Does he? In
And
the
then
teenage.
in the end of the sequel, he says, ha, I made another funny.
Never seen it.
Adorable. Potatoes for Seamus. Oh, I skipped one. Sorry. Shane H. Wilder. This weekend, watch Voices with Ryan Reynolds.
I actually watch Waiting.
Don't tell me what to do. Waiting's good.
Yep.
That movie's funny.
Potatoes for Seamus. Toxic, you say. Brett, how nourishing.
Or another one is Van Wilder, which I still think is very, very funny.
Yeah.
I love Van Wilder.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Ryan
He did a
Reynolds-
lot of raunchy comedies
How old
when
are
he was
you,
younger.
Ryan Reynolds is one of those actors where they hire him to be him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was already true back
Yeah.
in the year 2000 when he
kind of
made
like
that
Iron
movie.
Man, whatever
Yeah.
his name is.
Just Friends was another great one with Ryan Reynolds, like early 2005.
More of a chick flick.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. I thought it was funny though. All right, Nate, no Dane, your best take. Audiences are dumb or Happy Gilmore is awesome. Chubbs was his name.
Yep.
That's where he was, Chubbs. All right, DC&C, shame it got pulled. Dane could have contributed.
To what? I'm confused.
I think they're talking about the whatever content
The cringe that you pulled?
you had to scrub.
Oh, I had to pull. Yeah, Dane. I had to pull the clip at the end of the show the other week.
What?
Yeah.
Sick.
That's how you know Dane's authentic. He doesn't like, he just be saying things.
There's one more.
Potatoes for Seamus. No, Brett, don't go. Stay.
Sorry, guys, but that'll be it for today. So before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? And again, thank you guys all for bearing with us while we were off for a couple of days. Thank you so much for coming back. If anybody wants to get us that third crisis party before we go, I wouldn't say no to that. But until then, Kellen, let everybody know where they can find you. Shameless. Just shameless.
Thank you. You're doing great.
You can follow me at Kellen PDL on the internet. Yeah.
And there's one more super chat from Potatoes for Seamus. Says, Kellen, what's your favorite color?
Oh, I don't have a favorite color. I don't
Whoa.
discriminate.
Guys who have favorite colors, a little sus.
Yeah, it's true.
What?
It's true.
There's another one from Nate. Said, you rock. Bye.
Thank you. And one more from, is that all of them? I think that's all of them. All right, Dane, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dane Font, and now I shall spell that out for you.
Oh gosh.
DANEFONT.
You have to do it like the long way. D as in dog.
Yeah. Use the alphabet. What's it called? The military alphabet.
All right, Sarah, there's one more there.
All right, from Sorenko Productions. No third party for you because Dane was the only one dancing last time.
was
Wait, I didn't
dancing.
think this through.
You think I'm not worthy?
I was doing the head bob.
Yeah, see, it was very Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah.
One more came in too from Pat the Plumber. Post-credit scene.
Won't even be necessary. We can just have it before the post-credit scene. We can do that right now. Watch this.
Boom.
Perfect.
Wow.
Sarah, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and X at Casbrew Coffee. You can also follow Casbrew Coffee on Instagram at Casbrew_coffee. Thank you.
Perfect. And then there's one
What
more
an
here
outro.
from Shane H. Wilder. It says, my favorite color is black, like Kellen's heart. High Voltage 75 says, but by the way, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Secret of the Ooze is free on YouTube now. Nate says, phonetic alphabet is what it's called, Dane. Guys, if you would like to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. They get a bonus crisis party. They set it up manually. Damn it! Free crisis party.
No.
That's some
I'm
bullshit.
used to dance.
Pay your dues.
Damn it!
No freeloaders.
Seriously, free crisis party. Not even fair. At Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific, at least when we're not off for a couple of days. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at popculturecrisis, and on Instagram at popculturecrisispod. Couple more here. DCNC says, what's everyone's favorite font? Nobody has them. They
Comic
all love.
Sans.
Dane.
They all like papyrus.
Dane font.
Comic Sans.
Pat the Plumber says Dane. Potatoes for Seamus says Ann's Franks. Let's go. With that being said, guys, we will
Ay,
be back
Montserrat.
with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then. Bye, guys.